You're watching high school football on My TV 30 as we welcome you into Columbia Central High School. They've been playing football around here a long time, and tonight, two old rivals get together for a Week 4 battle as the Columbia Central Lions host the Marshall County Tigers on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. And we're glad to have you with us on another gorgeous evening under the Friday night lights. That is former Vanderbilt offensive lineman Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica. Columbia Central comes in at 1-1. Marshall County coming in at 1-2. Bruno, these two started playing each other in the 1930s. It's a rivalry renewed tonight, and we've got two young teams surrounding a couple of dynamic quarterbacks. Should be a fun duel.
Absolutely. The weather's nice. Both these communities came out strong for this game. I'm never going to take that weather for granted again, Lucas, after what the Mid-State went through last week.
Yeah, lightning delays across the Mid-State. Columbia Central wasn't able to play, but they're back at it, looking to pick up where they left off. Let's get to the keys to the game, starting with the visitors. Marshall County, they've got to take away the quarterback run game, or it's going to be a long night.
Absolutely. I don't want to call Columbia Central one-dimensional, but most of their offense does operate through that run game. They set everything off of it. They're averaging 8 yards a rush from their quarterback, and it's going to be a key to the game for Marshall County to try and minimize that at the very least.
And Columbia Central knows that it's got to take away number 6. That is Kel Hightower, the primary target in this Marshall County passing attack.
And if you take away Hightower, it can spread the ball out to guys who maybe aren't used to getting that ball on a varsity football field, especially at this level. And it could force interceptions, could force fumbles, just get guys out of their mojo. So they're going to look to take Hightower away tonight.
Well, we've mentioned these two dynamic quarterbacks. Let's talk about them with our players to watch, beginning with Marshall County. The senior quarterback, Tyler Thompson, the reigning Mr. Football in the 4A class. Now he's in 3A, and he's had a nice start to the season, 6 total touchdowns.
Absolutely. 4 of those touchdowns were rushing touchdowns this season, too. So he has a leg option. I know we mentioned it for Columbia Central that there will be a lot of quarterback threat from their run game. But Tyler Thompson has the athleticism, too. He's going to also, not only is he reigning Mr. Football, but he's still trying to get those college offers, so he's going to be looking to make a statement tonight on TV.
For Columbia Central, Daniel Booker, the junior, his first year as the starter. He can throw the ball over the top, but it's his run threat that is the engine of this offense, 488 yards.
Absolutely, Lucas. You mentioned earlier off air that he's averaging 8 yards a rush. Most offenses, they aim for their rushers to have at least 4 yards. That's an efficient runner. He's doubling that right now. So the offense does run through him, and they're going to ask big of him tonight.
Beautiful night for a rivalry matchup in Week 4, but ahead of kickoff, let's get an injury update with Sammy Kincaid.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham injury update, it's going to be a short list tonight with players out only on the Marshall County side. Out tonight is all-region kicker Luis Gonzalez. He's out with a torn ACL, as well as defensive end Jason Patrick with an ankle injury that he suffered in Week 2. That's your Bart Durham injury update. Whenever we come back from this break, we're going to have a whole lot more for you. Kickoff, coin toss. So stick with us. We'll be right back at Columbia Central.
Week 4 brings us to historic Lindsey Nelson Stadium in Columbia, Tennessee for a long-standing rivalry. The Columbia Central Lions host the Marshall County Tigers in a matchup that they started playing back in 1935. Bragging rights on the line, early season momentum. Should be a fun one on a beautiful night in Middle Tennessee as we welcome you in to the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals presented by UA Local 572. And we'll send it down to the field for the Tennessee Army National Guard coin toss ahead of this one as the Columbia Central Lions make their way onto this brand new turf in front of their home crowd. This team has not played football in 2 weeks, and they're itching to get back out there against the Marshall County Tigers, who make the trip 25 minutes over to Maury County. We'll go down to the field. The coin toss is presented by the Tennessee Army National Guard. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth with you. Sammy Kincaid patrolling the sidelines, bringing you this one on My TV 30. And Bruno, Columbia Central has been idle for 2 weeks. A lot of games suspended last week due to lightning. Marshall County coming off a loss against Westview. Fair to say both are ready to get back at it on this Friday.
Absolutely. It might have felt like fall camp a little bit for those cats. So it's going to be good to get back out here on a Friday night.
We see there Marshall County winning the toss. They defer to the second half. So Columbia Central will get the football first in front of this home crowd. And it's already the third home game of the season for the Lions, who come in at 1-1. Marshall County coming in at 1-2. Speaking of the weather last week, don't have to worry about that this evening. 77 degrees in Columbia, Tennessee. Fake fall is officially over in the state of Tennessee, and we are back towards the more end of summer feel that usually happens around this time of year.
Absolutely, but give it about 2 to 3 weeks, then we'll start getting those cold football days where the real fall happens.
No doubt about that. But for tonight, it is perfect conditions as you look at Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen in his 12th season, leading this football team into a hostile environment. But this rivalry has been good to the Tigers. Columbia Central has not been on the winning side of it since 2012. Now, granted, they've only faced off 6 times since 2012. But it's a series that is tied up at 21 apiece all time. So the winner tonight will get the edge heading into 2026.
That's awesome. I have to imagine the coaches mentioned that to the kids, because that would give me motivation as a youngin'. You know, it's a legacy. That's what high school football is about, man. Legacy that goes back 100 years for some schools here in the Mid-State.
So Marshall County teeing up the kickoff with Rodney Rogel, the freshman kicker. Back deep are Jamari Brown and Cam Bridges for Columbia Central. Kickoff presented by Greenway Kia. Coach Kia says every deal is a touchdown. Shop Greenway Kia in Hickory Hollow, Rivergate, or Franklin. GreenwayKiaNashville.com, and we are underway in week 4. Kickoff flutters, bouncing at the 10 and just getting out of bounds for the flag to fall, giving Columbia Central good field position to start things off here.
It's a good decision by Cameron Bridges, number 1 there, the junior. Smart football play, saw the ball had potential to go out of bounds. Now the bounce looked a little scary for them, but it does go out and gives them better field position to start out.
Dan Holt, our white hat tonight. And Columbia Central will get a chance to bring out this offense for the first snap of this matchup. Coming off a 51-12 win over Battle Creek. And correction, it was a false start on the kickoff. So a stuttered start to this one. They're actually going to re-kick this thing.
False start on the kickoff.
And put the football back at the 35-yard line. So Rohel will get another chance to boot this ball away.
Chance for a big return here. Columbia Central getting a chance to start off some special teams.
Brown and Bridges back deep, both very capable if a lane opens up to take advantage of it.
Special teams has not disappointed us on My TV 30 this season. We've had a lot of explosive plays.
No doubt about that. We've had 59-yard field goals. We've had kick and punt returns. See if we get one here. Cam Bridges gets a crack at it, but it's good coverage. by the Marshall County Special Teams Unit, and out comes Columbia Central. The first series of this one, and an offense that, as I said, hung over 50 points in a Week 2 win over Battle Creek, largely due to that guy right there, Daniel Booker, the junior, first-year starter at quarterback. And as we talked about pregame, Bruno, he's got 4 passing touchdowns, but he's this team's lead rusher, and that's the engine of this offense.
Absolutely. It's still a balanced offense, right? But it's going to start out of the run game, and that's going to open up his pass opportunities. And I have to imagine they're going to go straight to it with his first series of the night.
They're going to keep it on the ground, but right up the middle with Zane Nash, the junior running back, who picks up a couple. Dealt with well by that Marshall County front. All right, it'll bring up 2nd and 8 as we get a look at the BMC Metalworks starting lineups. The Columbia Central Lions, we mentioned Booker at quarterback, Nash at running back with 56 rush yards on the season. Number 5, Jamari Brown, really got going in that Week 2 win against Battle Creek with 3 touchdowns, and only a sophomore. They feel really good about the direction he's headed for this program out wide. Talking to Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen before the game, he could not put enough emphasis on having to stop the quarterback run as a big key for this one, but I'm going to keep running it with names other than Daniel Booker coming around that left side. That time it's Hassan Baugh carrying the football and picks up another couple yards, and this brings up 3rd down on the opening series for Columbia Central. Here's the Marshall County starters on defense, presented by BMC Metalworks. Very experienced linebacker core led by number 22, Elijah Cable. But it's cornerback number 4, Tayshawn Jones, that's this team's lead tackler with 19 stops on the season. Spread out here are the Lions on a 3rd and 6. Booker put it in the air, over the middle, complete at midfield. First down, Columbia Central. That is Dallas King on the receiving end. And it's a BMC Metalworks first down. BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating over 50 years of excellence.
That was a good pickup, especially by the running back. He ends up getting the center's guy, the nose tackle, right over. And Marshall County did an interesting thing on defense there as we get a look at Dallas King, the junior wide receiver for Columbia Central, who picked up the first down. But they shifted from their 4-2 down to a 5 line and 1 linebacker. It opened up the middle.
And they'll plunge it right up the middle in the run game. Again, not much going there for Hassan Baugh. Columbia Central coming into this season with the goal of finding more postseason success. They've gotten to the playoffs in every year of the Tredarius Goff era, head coach in his 3rd season. Looking to string together some wins. And they've got a young football team to be able to do it. Only 5 seniors on this Columbia Central roster in 2025.
That is a very young team, Lucas, but young isn't always bad.
Junior quarterback Booker over the middle, completes it to the 40. Trying to stay alive is Dallas King, 2nd catch of the game, 6th catch of the season. And it's another BMC Metalworks chain mover.
He's going to make his name known again. Another great pass protection there by the Columbia Central offensive line. And you've seen so many crazy things in football right there. The open grass field was right there, but the ankle tackle able to hold him down. Thought we might have seen a pitch on the spot, but Columbia Central looking to block downfield, which is a lot smarter of a football play.
Moves the spot to the Marshall County 40. And Columbia finding some rhythm on this opening series. Now Booker will call his own number. Leaves around the left side, picking up 3 or 4 to bring up 2nd down. 7.7 yards per carry for Daniel Booker, who started 3 or 4 games last year. He rotated in, got some experience. Now it's his job.
Yeah, an interesting formation from Columbia Central to run him out of. They have that trips bunch to the left there, and he's really hitting a very lateral angle. So they have it's a designated run. They have a place where they want him to hit. So it just comes down to doing your assignment and playing 11-man football to get Booker going in the run game.
2nd and 7 after the 3-yard gain. Little pop pass. Jamari Brown trying to get his hands on the football. Be able to move it down to the 36-yard line. Brown, the sophomore, that will go down as a passing play and his 6th reception of the season.
You mentioned the new turf. I think I saw about 3 players slip right there. You got to wonder, maybe these guys aren't used to playing on this surface.
Oh, they've been playing high school football at Columbia Central since 1915. And this is year one on this brand new turf field at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Second, third down of the drive. 6 yards to go to move the chains. Man open over the middle and unable to hang on. Richard Powers, the senior. And it brings up fourth down.
I mean, a throw that was just right on the money by Booker. And they've been so successful on third down this series. You hate to let the offense go out. The offense is staying out currently. 4th and 5th at this field position is manageable at the high school football level.
Just out of the range of junior kicker Eli Raymer. And maybe too far into Marshall County territory to punt for head coach Tredarius Goff. They are going to go for it here. They need 5 to move the chains. Play clock was running down.
Their first timeout of the half.
Able to get the timeout off is Columbia Central. So the Lions moving down the field, facing a fourth down as they look to draw first blood in this rivalry matchup in Week 4 on My TV 30. Durham injury law anthem moment. Great to have several members of the Tennessee Army National Guard on hand here tonight. Gorgeous night in Maury County, Columbia, Tennessee for a Week 4 matchup as the Columbia Central Lions host the Marshall County Tigers, renewing a rivalry, and we couldn't be more excited to be here taking you along for the ride. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan in the booth, Sammy Kincaid on the sidelines in a 4th and 5 situation in the opening series. Daniel Booker under pressure, trying to use that speed around the end. Booker, did he get there? Just short. The junior made a great effort out of it, but Anthony Chavez, in the end, the senior Marshall County linebacker, gets the job done. Turnover on down.
And receivers are falling in the backfield. They're tripping on the turf, so I think it's kind of messing up the timings. And Booker makes a good effort there, but it's just short and a good coverage there by the Marshall County defense. They forced the first turnover of the game. A good sign for that young man coming out into the field leading former Mr. Football, Marshall County, Tyler Thompson.
Mr. Football in the 4A class a year ago, and now he's looking to do it in 3A as Marshall County reclassified in the offseason, put up major numbers last year, and he's coming into his senior season with a much better understanding of the offense. Here's a stoppage before first down. Not get the snap off in time. That'll set back Marshall County before the first snap. Will frustrate head coach and offensive play caller Thomas Osteen in year 12. No losing seasons under his leadership. Over a decade leading the Marshall County Tigers. Thompson, 488 yards in the air, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 4 rushing touchdowns as well. He's going to roll out to his right, throwing on the run, caught at the original line of scrimmage. That will be a catch to Kel Hightower, and we're going to be saying that name a lot tonight. That's his 15th catch of the season. And at this point, he has caught 15 of Thompson's 42 completions as we get a look at the Marshall County offensive starters, presented by BMC Metalworks. Hightower, 213 receiving yards on the year. Aiden Bryant, their lead rusher, number 5 out of the backfield. A jitterbug running back playing out his senior season. 2nd and 10 for the Tigers. Thompson alone in the backfield, scrambling around, will throw on the run, has his man, Dash Mays, dropped before he reaches midfield. A BMC Metalworks first down, first one of the night for the Tigers.
Man, Lucas, we've seen a lot of quarterbacks play on my TV 30 and a lot of high-level recruits, and I think Thompson, in my opinion, has the best zip on the ball. You see the way it comes out of his hand, and it's very impressive so far. So, also he's spreading the field out. We mentioned that there's Dash Mays, the freshman wide receiver, getting some youth out there on the field, but obviously Hightower has been his go-to target, so it's good that he's getting a lot more guys involved now.
A big emphasis for them at this point in the season is to find more receivers to emerge outside of Kel Hightower. That's a pretty good start. Todd Gardner is going to get the first carry here, the sophomore back. Tripped up before he reaches the 45. Defensive starters for Columbia Central, presented by BMC Metalworks. Zane Nash right in the middle, lead tackler. The junior linebacker goes sideline to sideline, but the 2 big men up front, Xavier Murphy and Isaiah Bishop, going to need a big game out of both of them tonight if Columbia Central wants to get any push on this experienced Marshall County offensive line. On the play action, Thompson over the top, completes it across the 40, another first down, that time to Caden Harris. First 3 passes, 3 completions to 3 different targets.
Good job by Harris to get out on this route. Thompson has a lot of trust in his routes, his timing. He looks very poised for someone who it's only week 3 of the season. Obviously, he's Tennessee Mr. Football, right? But a very impressive showing so far.
Thompson completing 63% of his passes coming into tonight. Threw for 45 touchdowns last season, and that's not including the 11 he had on the ground. And he gets it off to Hightower here. The run after catch gets Hightower into the red zone. And Marshall County is just chipping away at this Columbia Central defense here on their opening drive. 18 yards to Hightower.
Man, it's too easy. You get Hightower in open space on the flat one-on-one where he can make a move, and it takes 6 purple jerseys from Columbia Central to get him down. That is a dangerous weapon to have on the edge. And their pass game is also going to open up their rush game. As you saw earlier in the series, it looks like they got a 6-yard rush just so easy because they're having to cover so much field now.
4 for 4 for 52 yards is the start for Thompson, but he'll sweep it out to the left side for Bryant's first carry. Darting inside the 15, Aiden Bryant, the senior, and they love these 2 backs, Bryant and Gardner. Though they have some similarities, they do get a pretty even share. As Bryant has his 26th carry of the season, and it brings up 2nd and 7.
Marshall County, on this first series offensively, they're so dynamic. We've seen flat throws, we've seen over the middle. We haven't seen a shot yet. We've seen sweeps, we've seen inside run rushes. So they're really leaving it out on the table right now.
Thompson, so good on the run, and he finds Hightower. That's Dash Mays, the freshman, getting out of bounds for another first down, presented by BMC Metalworks. Correction, just short of the sticks. So that does bring up 3rd and short for Marshall County.
Good protection you see right there for Columbia Central. Their end man on the line of scrimmage got washed inside, so Thompson was able to just relax, set his feet, and that's an easy pass for him.
That's one guy that they're looking to step up behind Kel Hightower, and that has been the case so far, catching his first 2 targets of the night. Straight up the middle goes Marshall County here. Not much for Todd Gardner, the sophomore, but it is enough for the first down, and it brings up a 1st and goal for Marshall County. Drive going according to plan so far after the turnover on downs.
Shifting out some personnel here is Marshall County, maybe getting into a more goal line friendly formation. This did start with a penalty, a delay of game, and after that, there has been no miscues on the offensive side of the football for Marshall County.
Great start to this game for Thompson. Another play action. He will keep it and stroll in. Touchdown, Marshall County. Rushing score number 5 of the season for Tyler Thompson. And it's a South College touchdown for the Tigers. South College, where dreams find direction.
It's going to be so hard for him to get to that over 40 passing touchdowns that he had last season, when it's going to be so easy for him to just rush it in on these boot sweeps. That's a respect to his passing threat that he's able to just roll out and basically be free. So another one for Tyler Thompson, but he's racking up the rushing touchdowns this season for sure.
They call him Sunshine, calm, cool, and collected. Just marshaling that Marshall County offense down the field on their opening series. So here's Rohel, the freshman kicker, on for the PAT. Hasn't missed one yet this season. That remains the case. And it's a 7-0 lead for Marshall County. The Tigers get the stop, get the ball, and get the score to strike first in this rivalry matchup on my TV 30. Tell him thank you.
Like Ricky Bobby. I don't do it with my hands.
James Ross Woody, class of 67, and Ed Zombrecker, class of 68. Correction, Andre Bullock, class of 74.
Welcome back to Columbia Central, where right now Marshall County leads 7-0, and I'm joined by Tennessee Army National Guard's Staff Sergeant Zach Kleinfelder and also Specialist Destiny War. And you are the representative for Columbia Central, and you, Specialist War, are the representative for Marshall County, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your service. And
Thank you for having us. Thank you for your support. We really appreciate that.
yeah, and can you tell me, how is the Tennessee Army National Guard different from other military branches?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked that. So the Tennessee Army National Guard is the only service where we live here, we serve here, and we work here. I mean, I work at this school, I serve this community, and there's no better place to be on a Friday night.
And there's a lot of jobs. Everyone has something different that they say that they do. So what jobs can somebody have in the Tennessee Army National Guard?
Well, that's a great question. And there's over 130 different jobs in the Tennessee Army National Guard. So there's everything from a human resources specialist to health science to shooting different weapon systems and even trade jobs. So really, depending upon the personality, the education, we feel like we have a good fit for anyone.
And I'm going to put you on the spot, Specialist War. What do you do with the Tennessee Army National Guard?
I'm a 31 Bravo military police and then a recruiter.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And everyone talks about the benefits of being in the military. What benefit is specific to the Tennessee Army National Guard?
Oh my gosh, well we could be here all night, Miss Sammy, right? But the main thing that we like to try to communicate to the applicants and also to the parents really is the Tennessee Strong Act. The Tennessee Strong Act is the only education benefit that'll pay all the way through a master's degree. So it could be up to 6 years of education.
Well, again, thank you so much. That's fantastic that they do that. And thank you so much for your service. And thank you for joining me tonight. And thank you to the Tennessee Army National Guard for being a sponsor of Friday Night Rivals. Guys, I'll send it back up to you.
Absolutely. Go Guard, baby!
Thank you, Sammy, and thank you to the Tennessee Army National Guard. Always a strong supporter of what we do here on Friday Night Rivals. Love that energy on the sideline on a Friday night.
That was the best National Guard ad read we've ever had. I loved it.
Hard to beat. And hard to beat the start to this game for Marshall County as that falls into the end zone for a touchback after the Greenway Kia kickoff. Following a 68-yard drive by the Tigers. Got the stop on defense after a turnover on downs, and Bruno marched it right down the field. Impressive start for Tyler Thompson, who ran in the score at the end of a 9-play drive.
Yeah, they really hit it. They got both backs involved. They got Thompson on the rushing. They got 3 different receivers on there. So, I mean, couldn't have asked for a better offensive series to start the game off for Marshall County.
So here comes this young Columbia Central squad looking for an answer. Junior quarterback Daniel Booker. Booker 3 of 4 passing for 18 yards on that opening series, and he'll wing it out to the right side for Baugh, who picks up a couple. Columbia Central really spreading the ball around offensively.
Yeah, it was good coverage there by Milan Bell, the senior for Marshall County. You see him shed the block off of Columbia Central's Cameron Bridges. We saw him return one of the kicks earlier.
Pickup of 2. In the 42nd ever meeting between these two programs, series is tied at 21. Up the middle, and the gap closes quickly. Anthony Chavez greeting Baugh in the backfield to drop him. Picks up 1 or 2 on the play. They'll call it 3rd and 6.
It's a good play by Chavez to fill up the hole, but it was also a good job by the defensive line. Milan Morris, it looked like the hole was exactly wide open, but they read it, got their hats on the side that they needed to get to, and it shut it down real quick.
Darius Goff in year 3 trying to take this program to the heights it reached when he was a player in that incredible 2010 state championship run. Booker airing it out, has a man just over the outstretched hand of Richard Powers. And Columbia unable to connect. It brings up 4th down and a 3-and-out on their second series of the game.
Well, this is a good view of throw right here. And I mean, the fingertip barely even touches it. A lot of sayings for wide receivers is that if you touch the football, you should be able to catch it. That one, I don't think that one was possible. It was just an inch overthrown.
Booker going to want that one back. And the Lions set to punt it away to a dangerous return man in Kel Hightower. Getting it off is Eli Raymer. Hightower catches it on the run at midfield. Hard man to bring down. He's able to sneak into Columbia Central territory as Bridges takes him down. So Marshall County, with a 7-0 lead and some momentum, has the football in plus territory for their second series of the ballgame.
They are starting in plus territory, but Bridges did a really good job. Bridges actually missed Hightower on that chase down there, but he comes back from behind to save it from being an even better Marshall County starting field position. But you have to be pretty concerned if you're a Columbia Central fan with how easily Marshall County marched down the field on that first series. We'll see if they have the same success coming up.
Thompson will hand off. Bryant slammed down in the backfield. Zane Nash, the junior linebacker, a guy his head coach says reminds him of himself back when he was a hard-hitting linebacker in his playing days at Columbia Central.
We mentioned Columbia Central. They only have 5 seniors returning, so now Zane Nash, as a junior, is the leader of that defensive backfield. And he makes a statement there, getting them 2nd and long. A good first play for Columbia Central when they needed it most, starting with this negative field position.
Nash, a great leader, the lead tackler as well for the Lions. No gain on the play. Hightower in motion. Thompson looking that way and instead goes over the middle to a wide open man. Marks Mitchell, the tight end, picks up 10. It's just enough. A BMC Metalworks first down. And you can see the attention Columbia is having to pay to Kel Hightower. Feels like it's opening things up for some other guys.
Absolutely. There's a good key fake right there that gets the defense moving. And when Thompson finds a target, he sets his feet and he throws it instantly. And there's a lot of attention on Hightower right now, and that's opening up the field. That was our key to the game for Columbia Central coming in, but it's just going Marshall County's way up at this point as we get a look at Mitchell, the junior tight end.
Ball on the 34. Thomas Osteen, who coached this team to a quarterfinal appearance in the 4A class last year. Flag down, ripped over the top, caught and dropped at the 10 is Caden Harris. And that'll be a 1st and goal for Marshall County, pending the penalty. Good comeback catch there by Harris, and we'll see what the flag is.
Their first warning of the game. Sideline warning on Marshall County, first one of the game. Listen, college coaches, if there's anyone watching out there, this Tyler Thompson guy, he's legit. These are some darts. They have speed, velocity, it's out the pocket quick, great operation. I don't know what more you could want. I'm very impressed right now.
That was 24 yards over the top, so the penalty will not negate the play. Wide open lanes for Todd Gardner, and he scores. Marshall County an extra point away from doubling their lead. First touchdown of the year for the sophomore, Todd Gardner, presented by South College.
This is just a power play. They have one-man puller. In the high school level, we usually see two pullers, but they trust that their down blocking, their up-front blocking is going to clear such a hole. They only need one to come in and lead Todd Gardner through, and he gets through relatively untouched straight into the end zone. The passing game opening up the running game.
Complimentary football from the Marshall County Tigers in this first quarter. A drive that started in Columbia Central territory, and the Tigers made quick work of it. Rohel, his extra point, catches a tip there from Brown, but it is good, and it's a 14-0 Marshall County lead.
Marshall County Tigers 14.
We're going to have a shift in objective for Columbia Central, considering we were like, okay, we have to shut down Hightower. Well, they've done that to a degree, and it's just opened up on the field for Marshall County. It's really coming up to the Columbia Central offense. They have to stay on the field and give their defense a rest. You can't have that with those Marshall County guys on the field. Maybe a turnover somewhere in the game, because they started out early with Columbia Central turning the ball over. We get a look at Coach Osteen, who I'm sure is happy with the level his offense that he calls is playing on.
Never had a losing season, Thomas Osteen. You see on the left, Tredarius Goff on the right has led this Columbia team to the playoffs in each of his first two seasons. Now in year 3, was the MVP of that 2010 state championship, the win against Hendersonville. Now that would have been right as you were starting your high school football career. What do you remember about that Columbia Central team in 2009 and 2010 that made back-to-back state championships, winning one of them?
So I was interested in getting football. I didn't play my freshman year, but I was interested in getting into it. I was like, okay, who are the best football teams? Who are the best players? And Columbia Central pops up, right? And now that I've been across the mid-state and learning, you hear a lot about the guys who are on that Columbia Central team that made such a name for the program and what they did. And I can see how desperate they are to get back to that, because it is a euphoric feeling being at that level of football.
Means a whole lot to this community in Murray County, as Rohel boots his kickoff over the head and out of bounds. It's over Baugh, who is a little frustrated. Had a chance at returning that one. And it'll put it on the 20. The third crack at it for this Columbia offense, who went 3 and out the last time out. 4-play, 45-yard drive, less than 2 minutes off the clock on the scoring drive for Marshall County. And Columbia, who worked the ball into Marshall County territory on the opening series, was stopped on a 4th down. Trying to recapture some of that with Daniel Booker. And there's a good run play to start things off with Baugh spinning across the 25. Brings up 2nd and short.
That's a good sign for Columbia Central. Even on the drive where they were moving down the field, they were struggling a lot on 1st and 2nd down. They were converting on 3rd, but drives like this, when you have 2nd and 3rd, 3rd and short, that's where you can set up some shots and maybe get some explosive plays. We saw Baugh just barrel down the middle there with a big hole.
7-yard gain to bring up 2nd and 3 for Hassan Baugh. Booker fakes the screen. Quarterback run up the middle, battling for every yard. And he's got the BMC Metalworks first down across the 30. And it could be the final play of the first quarter. It'll be up to the Lions.
Your 2025 legends that were inducted into the Sports Hall of Fame last night. James Finney Jr., class of 25. Frank Thomas, class of 37. Richard Wexler, who's with us tonight, class of 55. Jim Sonny Morton, class of 60. Jerry Haddock, class of 60. H.L. Porter, Ed Kimes, Tom Robinson, Martin Taylor, and Randolph Yoakley Wyatt. 2025 football inductees from last night. Jody Herbert, class of 78. Mike Hudson, class of 78. Romano Candy, class of 79. Manuel Young, class of 80. Gary Buchanan, class of 85. Rodney Baxter, class of 85. Bernie Smaley, class of 88. Willie Jones, class of 91. Ronnie Pillow, class of 93. Tim Sewell, class of 94. Joey Bishop, class of 97. And Craig Stortman, class of 2003.
You're watching Week 4 action of the high school football season from the Marion Wilhoit Press Box. Glad to be with you. Lucas Panzica, Bruno Reagan, as the Columbia Central Lions host the Marshall County Tigers in a rivalry matchup on MyTV 30. And we're going to play 4 quarters tonight because last week that was not the case as inclement weather spread across the mid-state. We were in Clarksville. You see the lightning strikes there at Rossview High School for a rivalry matchup. The battle for the Warfield Shield, and Clarksville got off to a nice start in this game before everything was said and done with the game suspended. Everybody went home before the midway point of the second quarter. They picked back up and finished the game on Saturday. Ended up being a 38-6 win for the Clarksville Wildcats. Bruno Reagan, a Clarksville High School Hall of Famer. You get out there to watch your alma mater on Saturday after we didn't get to finish it out?
I did not. I forgot what I had Saturday, but I did not go out and watch the finish. But I can't imagine we'll go back to Clarksville anytime soon after that event.
No, nothing like that happening out here in Murray County, and we're happy about it. Gorgeous night in Columbia, Tennessee for this Week 4 battle rivalry matchup between the Lions and the Tigers. Of course, both of these teams were affected by it last week. About everybody in Middle Tennessee was. Columbia Central didn't get to play. They were on the field at Independence High School warming up when the lightning started to strike. Game got delayed and then just canceled. Luckily for Marshall County, the Tigers were able to get in their matchup, although it did result in a 43-14 loss at home to Westview, coming over from Martin, Tennessee. As Booker goes over the top, connects with Bridges. And it's a good first down pickup up to the 40 to bring up 2nd and 1.
It's a good pressure by number 10 on Murray County. Marks Mitchell's the junior defensive end. But they get the ball out, and they travel 30 yards down the field to gain only about 7. So Booker had to back up to avoid that pressure and get it out to Bridges. But it was a good job by Columbia Central to keep this drive moving and efficient on first down. That's the key to our game tonight. New key for them. Efficient first and second downs to set up explosive plays.
Booker will barrel it right up the middle. He's got enough. Another first down for Columbia Central, who's starting to find a bit of a groove offensively. Still in their own territory here. It's a Bart Durham injury law first down by the junior quarterback.
They shifted into a more heavy personnel there on their short down yardages. Now they're going to shift back out into their typical spread look, 11 personnel.
Head coach Tredarius Goff leaning on his junior quarterback here. A team captain says he's the perfect guy to lead this group. Down 14-0 early at home. Big play down the sideline. Pushed out of bounds near the 20. Richard Powers on the catch and run. And And there's the pop Columbia Central's been looking for. 37 yards for Powell.
So we saw this as a receiver screen, and we get some good lead blocking by the Columbia Central offensive line. I believe that was 77 Isaiah Bishop there leading it, the senior, and a good job by Richard Powers knowing exactly how they're going to set it up. The first guy's the kick out, the second guy's the alley. He just squeezes right in between them, finding that close gap and explodes out of it. Now they're threatening the red zone.
Bart Durham injury law, first down for the Columbia Central Lions. Looking to get on the board. Rolling out, Booker avoids the tackle, lobs it, and it's caught. Another first down, and Columbia Central is wheeling down the field. That one to Jamari Brown, his top target. First time in the red zone tonight for the Lions.
Booker's had a lot of pressure in the backfield that he's had to deal with, and he gets away from that one and throws it right on the open shoulder of the route. It was a good job by Jamari Brown to turn those shoulders and get it to the open side. So it was a good throw and catch out of any place the defensive back could have made a play on it. Looking at about 12 yards to the Columbia Central's first score of the night.
Booker saying either my guy or nobody catching that ball. And it's 1st and 10. They'll work in the motion, handing off the football to Brown. Tripped up as he nears the 10. And this is more what Tredarius Goff envisions with this Columbia Central offense. Daniel Booker at the helm. Defense accounting for the quarterback run game and it opening up everything else.
No, absolutely. I mean, their first down efficiency this drive has basically been the placeholder for the success that they've seen. I know that first series, they were traveling down the field, but there was a lot of misplays, maybe some 10-man football. Right now, they're playing at the level that Columbia Central wants to play at. If they can play at this level the entire night, it's going to be a close game.
Baugh, the man in the backfield, getting the carry. Still up inside the 5. And he is down at the 4. Columbia Central knocking on the door. This will be 3rd and short.
Take a look at Baugh receiving this. Looks like a man-on-man, maybe a duo-style run where you just try to get a one-man out there. And it looks like that there was a timeout called before this play by Marshall County.
And that's exactly right. First one of the first half called by the Tigers. Looking to reset as Columbia Central threatens to get on the board at home here in this Week 4 matchup on MyTV 30.
NationalGuard.com. Main Street Glory provides the most consistent and comprehensive coverage for your Columbia Central.
Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on MyTV30Web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
Columbia Central putting together a nice drive and looking to finish it off the right way here as they trail at home 14-0 to Marshall County. Welcome back. Week 4 action on the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Big 3rd down here for the Lions. Ball spotted just inside the 5. They need the 2 to make it 1st and goal. What do you stick with here if you're Columbia Central and Daniel Booker at quarterback?
I think you let Booker keep this one, but also you had a timeout, so there's a chance that they get him the ball quick, that they could have called maybe 2 plays in the huddle, so that way they could catch the defense off guard if they want, or they could talk about the 4th down when they get to that point. But I picture this as 100% 2-down territory.
Well, we were coming out of the Marshall County timeout, and the Tigers have taken another one. That's their 2nd timeout of the half in back-to-back fashion.
I think that shows how important that they want to get this score right. They want to make sure they do it right.
Coming up, the U.S. Navy halftime report. Hope you'll stick around, as we'll be highlighting great high school football action from around the country. We'll highlight this week Sonic Scholar athletes, have participating school administrator interviews, and plenty more. The United States Navy, forged by the sea. What might Marshall County have seen there? A look maybe from the Columbia Central offense that they didn't like and chose to spend their 2nd time out.
Well, that one would be on Columbia Central's first time out, correct? Because Marshall County took that one, and then Columbia Central took it. So what they're doing is Columbia Central sent their offense out, and they want to see how their defense reacted. So that way, they can come out with exactly the look that they know they're going to get.
My mistake.
No, you're good.
I could have sworn Dan Holt pointed over to the Marshall County defense.
He might have, but Lucas, listen, I lean on you for so much stuff. I feel very proud to pick you up once.
Well, we've got a Vanderbilt grad up here and a Tennessee grad up here, so I'll let the audience decide who's smarter.
My dad's cracking up at that one.
3rd and short, Booker, left side. Did he get there? No signal. He's short. He is short, but it will be 1st and goal for Columbia Central.
If you see they're hurrying back to the line, I knew it. After that timeout, they might have had a second play call on the turbo because you want to go quick. And now that it's not 4th down, no issue.
And they're going to go quick. Booker over the top. Did the ball come out? Marshall County saying it's theirs. It's been announced as a touchdown on the field. We don't have a signal on the field just yet from the officials. Still discussion on the field. Columbia Central has sent out the extra point team. Looks like that's the Lions' touchdown.
The officials they're just setting up for the extra point, but we'll get a look. So there are no instant replays in high school football. We'll get to take a look. And it does look like that ball crosses the plane, Lucas. So even though it was fumbling, it has to be in the act of coming out before it hits the goal line. We see right there that the ball is over the goal line before it starts coming out. It's a good punch by Marshall County, but that is a touchdown.
Looked like officials were deliberating on the call, but it will be a South College touchdown for the Lions. South College, where dreams find direction. So Daniel Booker scores his 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. And an offside on Marshall County on the extra point will make it a little bit easier of a chip shot for Eli Raymer. And you wonder in these moments if Columbia Central will consider going for 2, but they're going to keep the field goal team out there. Raymer's extra point, knocked through, and the Lions able to cut the Tiger lead in half at home early in the 2nd quarter. Take another look at that score from Daniel Booker going over the top. Just needing the ball to break the plane.
We can see the extension from Booker, and it's close from that angle. I think he actually still crossed from that angle before the punch happened. The sideline angle was the better view, but it does show that was, if that was a 1/4 of a yard farther away, that would have been a fumble.
So they'll set up the Greenway Kia kickoff. Now, this has also been a point of emphasis for Columbia Central this season. The Lions gave up 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns in the Week 1 loss to Dixon County. Ended up being a 10-point defeat against the Cougars here on this field. A couple of dangerous return men back deep for Marshall County, and Todd Gardner and Tayshawn Jones. So Raymer will kick it away from the 40. A Greenway Kia kickoff, and Coach Kia says every deal is a touchdown. Shop Greenway Kia in Hickory Hollow, Rivergate, or Franklin. GreenwayKiaNashville.com. Raymer. It is fielded by Gardner right on the goal line, and he is tackled across the 25.
You mentioned Columbia Central. They gave up 2 of those touchdowns at Dixon County, and Todd Gardner had a full head of steam. I was getting a little worried there, but they do cover it well. And Marshall County, their offense being so successful, they're coming out for their 3rd series.
10 plays, 80 yards, exactly what Columbia Central needed to respond to a 14-0 first quarter for Marshall County. But the Lions get the ball back, and so far, Tyler Thompson has been clinical. A 7 of 7 start for 110 yards in the air.
And a rushing touchdown with how much he's diced him up over the top.
Gardner with the first down carry. Another lane on the left side. Gets to the 35 before he is stymied, and it brings up 2nd and short. Zane Nash on the stop.
You can see Zane Nash's foot got caught on Gardner's face mask there, and some good sportsmanship between the 2 lads. I love seeing high-level competitors, but also good sports. You get a look at Todd's rush right here. He's also a tough back to bring down.
Sophomore who tore his ACL in week 1 of last season. Had him out for his freshman year, and they're glad to have him back this year and for a couple more. In a Marshall County uniform, especially if he keeps doing this. Down the left sideline, Gardner using that speed, looking to get the edge. Touchdown, Marshall County. 64 yards for the sophomore back. In a flash, the Tigers are back up by 2 scores.
Todd hits this edge super hard, and then watch as he hits the sideline. He shifts into an extra gear right there. He has speed that I haven't seen. Marshall County's offense is loaded with weapons. Tyler Thompson, Todd Gardner, only a sophomore with that kind of speed. You can see the coaches, staff, and teammates embracing him after that explosive play. What an answer from Marshall County. After it looks like Columbia Central with a 10-play drive, bleeding life back into the stadium, they just take it back away.
The South College touchdown, and Rohel able to knock in the extra point. It is a 21-7 lead for Marshall County. So right as Columbia Central was able to grab some momentum, Marshall County hits a home run with Todd Gardner out of the backfield. And the Tigers lead the Lions 21-7 in week 4. You hungry?
Starving. Don't worry. The Doors will win. 9 p.m. tomorrow. Boxing match start. I'll have my Jets 8-corner Cajun crust, pepperoni, pineapple pizza.
When are you letting yourself eat?
Tomorrow 9.
Okay, tomorrow night.
Right after the door. The door should be done by then.
Oh man, aren't they a 6:30 kick?
Yeah. Figure at 9 you'll be done.
A 2.5-hour game.
By that time, an extra hour or 2 won't be that.
Yeah.
All of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners Sonic, Tennessee Army National Guard, South College, Bart Durham Injury Law, Western Kentucky University, BMC Metalworks, Wilson Bank and Trust, Josh Houston and Associates, and UA Local 572, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Marshall County High School, Columbia Central High School.
And we are glad to be out here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, a historic venue in Middle Tennessee where they have been playing high school football for a long time. Both of these programs have. Renewing a rivalry that is in its 42nd edition, and even 21 wins apiece in the series. Marshall County off to a strong start to try and get the edge. They lead at 21-7 following a 64-yard touchdown run. Todd Gardner, electric out of the backfield. And it has Rohel teeing up another Greenway Kia kickoff. You're watching the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572 on MyTV 30. Glad to have you with us on a beautiful night in Middle Tennessee. Kickoff will be short, fielded at the 10. Jamari Brown, dangerous return man if he has a lane. And he dances across the 30 and out of bounds around the 34.
Good starting field position for Columbia Central. They had a lot of success on their last series where they did score on a 10-play drive, only taking about 3 to 4 minutes between it. As we take a look at Marshall County with that explosive play from Todd Gardner, 2 plays, 73 yards, under a minute of time. So they can strike at any moment as Marshall County. Columbia Central, they'll have to try and control time of possession to keep that offense off the field.
1st and 10, ball is spotted at the 34. Columbia Central is able to put together a scoring drive last time out. And it feels like that kind of game. Going to need explosives to win this one. And Booker is folded in the backfield. That was Elijah Cable, part of this experienced linebacking core for Marshall County. That is the strength of its defense.
Booker has dealt with so much pressure in the backfield. You can see a host of white jerseys. I mean, also Mylan Morris, the junior defensive tackle, was back there along with Cable, just beating his man right in the middle of that offensive line, instantly off the snap. If they can't give Booker a second, it's going to be a long night for Columbia Central.
Booker throws under pressure again and caught in the backfield and brought down his ball. And it's another loss for the Lions offense. Tayshawn Jones closing in that time. The cornerback and lead tackler for this Marshall County defense. It's 3rd and 17.
Not many good play calls for an offensive coordinator when you're facing 3rd and 17, especially when that's the thing. They're getting great pass rush on 1st and 2nd down when most defenses are expecting run game, right? So now it's 3rd and 17, and you get to dial your ears back, maybe a stunt or a linebacker blitz. You could even bring a corner off the edge. I imagine they'll play base just because there's so much ground to cover, but it's going to be a tall task for Booker here.
He's going to have to put it in the air under pressure. Dumps it down. Jamari Brown at the 40 has the first down and plenty more. Brown across the 25 and out of bounds. A big-time catch and run for the sophomore wide receiver.
There is a flag on the play at the current moment, about 20 yards after, but Columbia Central, if they're good at one thing, they are very high level at their screen game. They're letting that pass rush just come into them now, and they're taking advantage of it. That's going to be something that stifles as we get a call on the field.
Sideline, Columbia, the game.
Dan Holt or White Hat tonight, so that's one sideline warning per team, and the play will stand. 49-yard Bart Durham injury law first down for Jamari Brown, and this coaching staff believes Jamari Brown can be special for this football team in the next couple of years. Lead receiver for this squad, and it breathes new life into this Columbia Central offense. And a game, Bruno, that's already got 28 points before the midway point of the second quarter. Those plays feel critical for Columbia Central tonight as they hand off up the middle to Ball.
Absolutely. The explosive, I mean, it's great to have those explosive plays, especially they were in such a bad situation. 3rd and 17, Lucas, on their own side of the field. So they explode through it, but if they can't consistently stay on the field, it's going to be a problem.
Columbia Central looking for their first win in this rivalry since 2012. Now, the two teams have only played 6 times since then. But it is a rivalry that played its first matchup all the way back in 1935. Booker over the middle, can't connect. Bridges the intended target.
Booker had time in the backfield there, something he hasn't had a lot of up to this point. Game is getting a little physical on the field, but nothing out of the ordinary yet. Another 3rd and long for the Columbia Central offense.
3rd and 9. This is just inside the range of junior kicker Eli Raymer, but the way this game is going, Columbia Central looking for 7, not 3 on this drive. Darius Goff looking on, former state champion as a player. Booker rolling right, throws, nearly intercepted. Kel Hightower diving for it, incomplete, and brings up 4th and 9. Let's take it down to the field for Sammy Kincaid.
Hey guys, 2 years ago when we had Columbia Central on the broadcast, I told you about Coach Goff's nephew, Jaravius Hall, growing up going to Coach Goff's games when Coach Goff played at Columbia Central and how Jaravius was on the team at that time. Well, now his younger brother is on the team. Jamari Hall also grew up going to his uncle's games at Columbia Central, hoping to one day be just like him. Jamari's only a sophomore, and Coach says he's put on 15 pounds this offseason. He sets the edge for them. He started one game last year and got 3 interceptions in that game, running one back for a tutty. He's coming back from a high ankle sprain, and Coach also says Jamari's a little bit meaner on the field than Jaravius, but don't get it twisted. Jaravius is now playing Division I ball at...
Thank you, Sammy. To finish that point there, Jaravius Hall playing his college ball at Indiana and is dressing out for the first time tonight for the Hoosiers. Was a Columbia Central Lion now in his freshman season with Indiana. Marshall County, by the way, calling a timeout there as Columbia was setting up for a field goal from Eli Raymer. And Indiana, by the way, up 66-0 in the 4th quarter against Indiana State. So a fun debut for Hall at the college level, and the brothers playing on TV at the same time tonight, as both are just following in the footsteps of their high school head coach, Tredarius Goff, who enjoyed a great career at Tennessee Tech playing linebacker after his state championship career at Columbia.
Must got the DVR working double time tonight. I don't even know if DVR is still a thing anymore.
That's a great question. I think people just hit record on YouTube TV or something. This is a 40-yard field goal attempt from Eli Raymer. His long this season is from 39. Operation good, and the kick is just wide to the left. Columbia Central coming up empty, and the Marshall County Tigers will get the football.
And a lot of time left on the clock for Marshall County. Marshall County has shown that they can explode about 70 to 80 yards of this field in under a minute. They have still 5.5 minutes left to go. They are starting a little bit farther back on their own 20-yard line.
Tyler Thompson. What a start to the game that he has had. The 4A Mr. Football winner from a year ago, now doing it in 3A, but leading his team on the road against a 5A opponent. Hands it off this time. Tripped up or around the left side is Aiden Bryant.
Yeah, you mentioned trip. It's a good job by the Marshall County offensive line, and just a little bit too much in the backfield is Tayshawn Jones on his block there. Bryant getting caught up in his legs. Still getting some yards on first down, so it's not all bad.
So after a pickup of 3, as you get a look at Jamari Hall there after hearing from Sammy, the safety with offers from Tulane and Southern Miss. Trying to play D1 football just like his older brother and head coach. Play action complete to the 34. Caden Harris coming back for the catch. And it's a first down presented by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Again, so that's a key fake right there by the offensive line. It looks like for the first 2 steps that they're going to go for a run play. That gets the linebackers' eyes on them instead of the receivers and opens up the underneath of the field, and Caden Harris just drops in to the zone on the right side. They make it look too easy for Marshall County.
They will spot the football. A delay on moving the sticks here. I did not see a flag down.
Sideline warning. Marshall County, their second warning of the game. That's a 5-yard penalty.
So that'll back it up, and it will not allow the Tigers to move the chains.
awkward position of the chain gang right now is the officials. I think most officials know that the sideline warning works the first time on both teams, that now they have to actually enforce the penalty.
Right.
No one knows where to start or what to do.
Yeah, they're discussing here. The ball is spotted at the 29. Now they're moving the chains. And Tredarius Goff is getting his explanation. So they give the first down, but they move the football back 5 yards. However, it will be 1st and 10 and not 1st and 15. Here we go. Thompson tosses it out to Gardner that time. Columbia Central all over it. Xavier Murphy, the junior defensive tackle, a guy his head coach said needed to have a big game tonight, and comes up with a big TFL there.
That was a big ask from the center to reach Xavier Murphy, who was lined up in what appeared to be either a 2-eye or a 3 technique, and he just shoots up the field. He's attacking the position that Marshall County is rushing to, not chasing the rushers, attacking the position they're going to. Great football play by that young man right there.
Brings up 2nd and 11. More play action here for Thompson. So good on the run. He fires a dart, but incomplete at the sideline. And it brings up 3rd and long. And this is where you start to think about the middle 8 in a game as a flag is down. We'll hear from Dan Holt in a moment. Marshall County will get the football to start the second half. So a huge opportunity here for Columbia Central to get a stop and put together a scoring drive. But it's been hard to do with the way Tyler Thompson has played, Bruno. That was his first incompletion of the game.
And he put it right on the money, too. It just kind of flipped through the field. I think there were some footsteps coming from the middle of the field towards the edge that might have spooked his receiver. But he's pitched a perfect game otherwise.
Let's hear from Dan Holt.
There's no way it's another sideline warning, is it?
That ball, personal foul. Number 40 of the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. The result.
They're calling that on who made the play. That was Zane Nash. They're calling that unsportsmanlike. Let's take a look.
Nash just colliding with Marks Mitchell, the intended target, on the sideline. They're going to call that a helmet-to-helmet hit on the junior linebacker, and it's a very costly penalty for Columbia Central as Marshall County gets a fresh set of downs and the ball on their own 42.
That's one of those penalties where I look at someone like Nash and I tell him, hey, it's a different world of football now, and I'm not going to knock him for making that play. He wants to make a statement. It's a physical, violent game.
Mylan Bell getting the pop pass. Another flag is down in the backfield, and this second quarter has slowed to a screeching halt here with penalties. That one going to be on Marshall County.
Holding on the Tigers.
Week 4 of a high school football season, is that about when, if you're a head coach, you really want to have the type of operational stuff cleaned up? Or does that, to an extent, never really get to 100% the way you want it?
Holding, number 60 of the offense.
We just got our official call with the holding. But absolutely, week 4 is when your base installs, and you should see enough different defensive looks as we take a look at the holding right here. Hard to see it from that angle. But your base installs, you should see it against every defense. A 3-down, a 4-down, different styles of backers, maybe a nickel where you bring in an extra linebacker in the defensive back position. This is where it should start to be base played out.
Makes it 1st and 20 as Thompson airs it out looking for Hightower. Incomplete. Just a little too much juice, and Hightower turning around right at the last second, couldn't hang on.
You still see Hightower giving that chest tap, showing that he thinks that he should have made that catch. It just shows the self-accountability that all these guys have. I'm sure Thompson will want that throw a little bit back. Hightower, he stretched out for it, but he didn't get much vertical leap off the ground. I think he was trying to focus on that turn to face the football rather than getting up in the air.
Well, those two have had a special chemistry all year long. Hill Hightower, 2 catches for 23 yards today, came into the game with 213 yards receiving. Thompson facing heat, tries to dump it down with the screen, and it is incomplete, intended for Gardner. Zane Nash blew it up. So after committing the penalty a couple of plays ago, Nash, the one to force a 3rd and 20.
It's a great response right there. And you can see the defensive lineman holding up for the screen, and Nash has exactly where Thompson wants to go with it eyed. Forcing the 3rd and 20 and a big stop coming up for Columbia Central if they can convert it.
Huge chance for the Lions to get the ball back before halftime and before having to kick it back to Marshall County to start the 3rd quarter. Thompson facing pressure again. Room to run, but not nearly enough to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Nash again with the stop, and Marshall County will have to punt it away. Hard to overstate how big that sequence was for the Columbia Central defense.
Well, number 31 off of the left side of, or the right side of your screen, but the left side of the field, Dallas King for Columbia Central. He was a free rusher off the edge. He showed up and lined up late, and he was unaccounted for. That forced Thompson to just run up the middle on a 3rd and 20. Columbia Central gets the stop.
And Tyler Thompson's going to stay on the field. He is the punter for this football team. All-region kicker and punter Luis Gonzalez is out for the season with a torn ACL. So the quarterback will stay on the field on 4th and long as the Lions are set to get it back. Jamari Brown back deep. Thompson boots it, a rolling ball, favorable for the Tigers, and Columbia Central will get it inside their own 25-yard line with 2:55 on the clock and 2 timeouts. A big drive upcoming before halftime, and that was a big stop by the Columbia Central defense. Could qualify for our stop of the game. We'll tell you in the 4th quarter. Remember, the law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Stay with us throughout the course of this one. Week 4 rivalry matchup in Murray County. 42nd edition between Marshall County and Columbia Central. The series tied at 21 apiece. And the Lions with a little bit of momentum, 2 timeouts in under 3 minutes, trying to put together a scoring drive. Booker using his legs, dragged down. A tackle for loss from the 3-year starter, Mylan Morris.
Mylan Morris has had a lot of success in his pass rush this game. Right there we can see that he can also blow up the design run as well. Could be a potential player of the game out of the defensive side of the football. I know I've said his name about 4 times tonight. We're not even at halftime yet.
Loses 1 on the play. Booker wires it. Interceptable ball, and it's intercepted. Caden Harris snatches it back for Marshall County, and the Tigers take over in Columbia Central territory.
So Booker just throws it up in one-on-one coverage, and that's the tip. If you're going to get in those conflicted spots as a receiver, you have to either come down with the football or take it down with you. Anytime it tips up, that is advantageous to the defense, and in a weird twist of fate, Tyler Thompson, who's the quarterback for Marshall County, punts it, and that might be their best offensive play of this series with this interception. A great job by number 2 right there, Caden Harris, the senior for Marshall County, to get the ball and get it to his offense on their side of the field going into the end of half.
First interception of the season for Harris, and Tyler Thompson going to try to turn it into points, but there's a rare drop from his number 1 target, Kel Hightower.
Kel Hightower had an explosive play in the last series, too, that ended up in a drop, and found themselves in a 3rd and 20 situation afterwards. And we see that Marshall County has kind of lost their momentum on the offensive side of the football. Their first 3 series of the game, they looked absolutely unstoppable. Now they're struggling to convert in their last few, about 5 plays or so.
Now Thompson started 8 for 8, has thrown 3 straight incompletions. But on a huge mistake from the Columbia Central offense, the Tigers can make it a 3-score lead before getting the ball back to start the second half. Going to be tough to do here with a sack at the 45. Isaiah Bishop, his 3rd sack of the season. And it's costly for this Marshall County offense, knocking them well out of field goal range. Timeout taken. Columbia Central stopping the clock with 1:46 to go.
Thompson just trying to create time. in that pocket backfield. And Bishop with the second effort, able to bring him down and force a timeout. The senior defensive lineman listed at 340. It's a big boy. That's a Bruno Reagan-sized boy right there.
What were Bruno Reagan's measurables senior year at Clarksville High School in 2013?
325, 6'3". So I was actually a little lighter because I still had to come up with wrestling a month after football, and I had to weigh 285 then. So that wasn't fun.
When it leads to a state championship, it's probably worth it. Stay with us. The UA Local 572 Player of the Game. We'll tell you who it is coming up in the fourth quarter. UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry. Beautiful night, great crowd here at Columbia Central, Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Tyler Thompson, certainly a candidate for our UA Local 572 Player of the Game, but has slowed down operating this Marshall County offense. Going deep here, intercepted. Columbia Central gets it back. Dallas King, the junior backer. What a stand by the Lions defense, giving it right back to the offense near the end of the first half.
And it looked like he might have tipped his hand right there at the end. Thompson's hand, that is, because Thompson had Marks Mitchell open right over the top. It looked like it was going to be a touchdown, but the ball falls about 10 yards short, and King's able to come up with the interception. The junior saving the day, and still a minute 40 on the clock for Columbia Central to travel down the field and try and chop this lead down.
So Columbia Central.
It sure looked like it was tipped. We'll take another look. Yep, the hand was tipped of Thompson that caused the ball to fall a little bit. It did look unusual.
Breathes new life for the Lions, and how about wide open spaces for Booker to run into across the 40 and down near the 45.
Columbia Central is going to have to go with a sense of urgency. The chains will be set and the clock will stop again. Only a minute 30, and they're a very run-heavy offense. We take a look at Booker dropping back, and he sees the free open space. He says, I'll take it. He's trying to sell with his shoulders and his eyes. Good job by Marshall County covering down the middle of the field.
Clock ticking. Columbia Central with 2 timeouts.
They're going to lose about 30 seconds just getting one play call in.
Crowd starting to get involved here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Flags are down before the first down snap.
What's the snapper, number 74? Prior to the snap infraction, number 74 on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
We'll back it up 5 yards. 6 flags thrown in this game. 2 on Columbia Central. We're under a minute to go now. And the Lions not using a timeout here. Booker. Call on the field, complete to the 45. But the clock will run as it was inbounds to Richard Powers. And the Lions running out of time.
Yeah, not a good 2-minute operation. And this is a pass that you want to catch and get out of bounds with. Now they have to deal with the clock.
Now going quick. Booker trying to run. Shakes a man across midfield. Daniel Booker down at the 45. And it will stop the clock with 13 seconds remaining.
It takes too long to get a play. They're still looking at the sideline. If I was the quarterback, I'd be like, get on the line and clock it. Take a formation. You're going to have to take a timeout of this game.
And they do.
It was a good job by Booker to squeeze out of there. It looked like it was going to be the end of the half, but he just gets out of the arm tackles and trips on the turf.
1 timeout remaining for Columbia Central. There's a 10-yard scramble from Daniel Booker. So if you're the Lions, you got to put it in the air. Mm-hmm. Who are you looking to as we get you ready for the U.S. Navy halftime report coming up here after 13 seconds of second quarter action?
From this position, with just the way their offense operates, I would take my shot to as far as I could now, and if we come down with it, then we'll call the other timeout and see what we can do with that. But this is going to be a tall ask for Booker 45 yards to the end zone, and the Marshall County pass rush has been in his backfield all night.
Ball on the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. Booker, the junior quarterback, first-year starter, with a huge opportunity here to make something happen in a tight window before Marshall County gets the ball back to start the third quarter up 2 scores. Booker has to run, is dragged down, and that will bring the first half to an end. Marshall County 21, Columbia Central 7. The Lions unable to get points on the board before the break, but hanging around in this rivalry battle in week 4. The United States Navy halftime report is next as you watch the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. Sammy Kincaid set to catch up with Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen down on the field. And the Tigers got off to a strong start, slowed down a bit, but still go into the break with a 14-point lead. Sammy?
Coach, obviously not how you wanted to end the first half. What did you see that the offense was seeing differently that you'll have to adjust to in the second half?
Yeah, just got out of rhythm. Happy with the way we started the game. Had a chance to really extend the lead there at the end of the second quarter, and just had a couple of mistakes. Gave up a hit on the quarterback, an interception. So hate the way we ended, but happy with our start.
And the defense made a big stance right there, stopping them, not letting them go down and score. So are you feeling good about your defense right now?
Yeah, their quarterback's an elite player, an elite runner. We're chasing him like crazy, but we got to up our game in the second half. We're going to chase him all night.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. Tigers lead the Lions 21-7. The United States Navy halftime report on the other side on MyTV 30.
ColumbiaChS.com, and you'll find everything that's in the Hall of Fame. Tom Porter put it all together
Restroom.
and donated it to the Columbia Central High School program. You will be mightily impressed. If you're not, don't call me. But check out ColumbiaChS.com.
Perfect. 30 seconds. I'll switch sides with you.
All right.
I feel like I'm just starting to catch
Sweating more than anybody out here.
Huh?
You're sweating more than anybody in the place.
You did an outstanding job this year.
You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
We're proud to present the Sonic Scholar Athlete of the Week. This week's Scholar Athletes are Mylan Bell from Marshall County High School and Emma Reinhardt from Columbia Central High School. Mylan has a 3.8 GPA, named Defensive Player multiple times for outstanding performance, and ranks in the top 25% in the class of 2026. Emma was a member of the varsity team her freshman year, tennis captain her senior year, and serves as head social media chair on the student council. These All-Stars are now entered to win a $10,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to our Sonic Athletes of the Week. Live free, eat Sonic.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University.
Welcome back to Columbia Central, where right now Marshall County is leading 21-7, and I'm joined by Marshall County's principal, Mr. David Seeley. And thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Well, thank y'all for having us and being on TV tonight. It's always an honor to promote your programs in your school.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm sure you love promoting this football program because they see a lot of success.
Coach Osteen and his staff do an unbelievable job. Every year we've got a really good team, and it just adds a lot to your school. When football can start good, it brings an energy and a positivity to your school that everybody can grab hold to and make for a good start every year. And they just do a great job, not only at football, but also at growing young men into better young men.
Absolutely. He was talking to us a little bit about those programs that he does with Man Monday, but tell me what else is going on at Marshall County.
Well, I'm privileged. I've been there for 30 years, but I get to be the principal with the best faculty and staff in Tennessee, and I really believe that. We offer 8 AP classes, about 15 dual enrollment classes, and 1 state dual credit class. We happen to be the top scoring in the state in that state dual credit class the last 2 years, but we also pair with Spot Low Vocational School, and that allows our students to get some just vocational classes and offer more so that they're more prepared in every way when we graduate and go on into their futures.
Absolutely. It sounds like a lot of really great things are happening at Marshall County, so again.
It really is. I'm super proud. We were a level 5 school and growth last year, and it takes a ton of hard work to get to that. And like I started with, the faculty and staff are just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you also to Western Kentucky for this Educator Spotlight. Whenever we come back, we're going to have highlights, stats, a lot more, so stick with us. We'll be right back for your halftime report.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University. You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Welcome back to Columbia Central. where it is currently 21-7 Marshall County leading. But I am joined by Columbia Central's principal, Miss Shonda Sparrow Lang. And thank you so much for hosting us tonight. It's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We were super excited. We've been excited all week waiting on this game. Actually, it's a lot of history with this game. I'm originally from Marshall County, but, over here. So we're just excited. We're super excited. We're going to come back, so don't worry about it.
If you didn't bring up being from Marshall County, I was going to ask you about it. I know it has to be. Do you have family over there right now?
I do. Both of my sisters are sitting over there, so we have been talking all week. And so my family's from over there. But, I have a new family up here that has welcomed me. I've been in Murray County since 2012. So this is my roots now.
Absolutely. And this is your second year at Columbia Central. So what has been your vision for this school?
Well, just restoring the roar. They have had a lot of adversity, several administrators throughout the years. And so just trying to find that consistency, restoring the roar. The community has been so receptive of that mantra and that theme. It's a rich tradition here at Columbia Central High School, and we call it the Purple Palace. So just trying to get that back academically and athletically. So, yeah.
And there's a lot going on at Columbia Central. So tell me a little bit about just the school and what's going on in the experience here.
Yeah, well, we are the largest high school in Murray County. We have approximately about 1,500 students, 9 through 12. So many sports. We have about 20-something sports that we play. And so just academically, we have what we call our Columbia Collegiate Academy. So just a well-versed, we're very diverse in our population. So just trying to make sure that we fit all the pieces for everybody. Everybody is inclusive and everybody fits in. So it's just been a lot of fun serving this school. Again, like I say, they're being very receptive. I always tell them that we're in the customer service business. We're about students. And so the students, if y'all notice, our student section has been super hyped tonight. So they're really excited about that. Our pet rally was so excited. So just bringing the excitement back.
Yeah, no, they've been a lot of fun. We're set up right in front of them. They've been a lot of fun tonight. And again, thank you so much for hosting us and for being here tonight with me. And thank you again to Western Kentucky for this Educator Spotlight. Whenever we come back, we'll have highlights, stats, a lot more. So stick with us. We'll be right back with your halftime report.
This week's Friday Night Rivals Educator Spotlight is presented by Western Kentucky University. Climb higher at Western Kentucky University. You're watching the United States Navy Halftime Report. The United States Navy, forged by the sea.
Halftime in week 4 from Columbia Central High School, where the Lions trail the Marshall County Tigers 21-7. We welcome you back alongside Bruno Reagan. I'm Lucas Panzica. We will hear again from Sammy Kincaid shortly with Columbia Central head coach Tredarius Goff. But first, let's look at the highlights from that first half action, beginning with what we saw from the home team, Columbia Central, who went down 14-0 after the first quarter, Bruno, but able to work back in it, especially thanks to this catch and run by Richard Powers to set up a Daniel Booker touchdown. Absolutely.
Something you can't deny Columbia Central's good at is their screen game. Receiver screens, running back screens out the backfield. They've done really well, and then we walk into Booker. He leaps over, and the ball fumbles, but it does cross the plane, and then at the end of the half, to save a score, we get an interception right there for Columbia Central from Dallas King. Now we go to Marshall County. Tyler Thompson, he just runs it off the edge for free. He's such a pass threat that he gets that one for free off of it. And then we get some explosive runs from Todd Gardner.
He was phenomenal in that first half. Here's a 64-yard lightning bolt down the left sideline from the sophomore back. Todd Gardner with the lone Marshall County score of the second quarter. And the Tigers have the 14-point lead at the break as you look at the first half stats. Balanced effort to this point for Marshall County. Columbia Central looking to get it going more in the run game.
And the stats look even, but the story is that Marshall County came out and it looked like we might have gotten, a very lopsided game on our hands. Columbia Central has made some key stops. They've also had a drive where they were able to stay 10 plays on the field. They've collected some of themselves in their identity back, but it's been all Marshall County up until the end of that second quarter, where Marshall County offensively, they just couldn't get anything going. That's where their one turnover comes from, and then a few penalties. You see 4 for 25 yards right there. It really slowed the game down for how efficient, how high level they were playing.
Yeah, a huge chunk of that passing yardage for Columbia Central happening in the screen game. How much more of that do you want to see and maybe try to call if you're head coach Tredarius Goff and offensive coordinator Dre Hall?
You probably want to do at least 2 more, because it's not even that the screens are successful. What the screens are doing is they're stopping the pass rush. They're keeping the defensive linemen and the linebackers more on their heels and looking at different keys rather than just getting their ears back and rushing. So you would want to call one, frankly, pretty early, just so that way you set the tone for those defensive linemen getting them off your quarterback.
21-7 at the break. Second half action is around the corner, but each week during halftime of our Friday Night Rivals broadcast, we showcase outstanding Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals game highlights from across the country. So let's check out some of the best from last week's action.
The best Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals highlights from across the country.
Jackson's got to get something here. He got hit. The ball's on the ground. And you don't have any timeouts. They don't have any timeouts.
For the end zone. Caught! 17.9 to go. And
mistakes. But once they clear those up, West Seneca East is going to be a very good football team this year.
Extra point attempt and trying to get into the end zone for a 2-point attempt instead. After it was blocked, it was DJ Baker was the holder,
forcing them to pass the ball. Deep down the field to Harden. Caught! Wow! Oh my goodness, did he actually come down with it?
Got him in the celebration. Strike up the Silver Fox home. What a play call. This could be a point in the end zone, but that's an SCDC touchdown for the Silver Foxes.
Take us to the end here. Connor Kolka needing to convert for 2. And it is loose. Was it a catch and a fumble? State College is on the football. Yes! State College scores on the 2-point conversion. And Lustig scooped it up.
Columbia Central preparing to come out for the second half. They're down 21-7, getting some momentum with some defensive stops and an interception by Marshall County's Tyler Thompson. As we see the coach getting a little bit hype. Let's go down to Sammy Kincaid with Coach.
Coach, there was a lot of momentum there to end the first half. What did you see that really changed on the field that you were able to take advantage of that you need to implement in this second half?
Oh, man, well, some of the things we was doing, they caught us in out of position a couple of times. But then once we got settled and got the call from our defensive coordinator, it looked good on the back end of that half right there. So we got to carry that over into the second half and start that way.
And what was really the main message to your team in the locker room just then?
Man, just fight. Don't lay down. We right here. This game ain't out of hands yet. We right here. We one big play away from being right back in it. If everybody come out and fight and play for each other, then when the game ends, we'll be right there where we need to be.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sammy. Head coach Tredarius Goff. He is a legend around these parts. The MVP of that 2010 state championship win for Columbia Central. Now trying to lead his alma mater to a comeback win against a rival. Marshall County up 21-7 as we get ready to start the third quarter at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. In the booth, Bruno Reagan, Lucas Panzica with you, Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline. Bruno, Marshall County will get the football to start this third quarter, and it just feels like a massive drive for the course of this game if Marshall County can recapture some of that offensive momentum they had, especially in the first quarter. 21-point advantage would feel like a tall task for Columbia Central.
Yeah, it's weird. You see 21-7, you think it's a comfortable lead. But this is the weird part of the game where one score swings it either to a one-score competitive game or a game that might have been out of the reach, right? So we're in this zone where there's not a lot of room for error if you're Columbia Central specifically. They are the ones behind. They need to either get that stop and then get that score right. Marshall County, they have some room to work with.
Let's hear from Sammy for an injury update ahead of kickoff before the third quarter.
Hey guys, for the Bart Durham injury update, it is the same as the start of the game. Very short list, only on the Marshall County side. Tonight out is all-region kicker Luis Gonzalez. He's out with a torn ACL, as well as defensive end Jason Patrick. He is out with an ankle injury that he suffered in week 2. That's your Bart Durham injury update. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sammy. Both teams on the field, teeing up a Greenway Kia kickoff is Columbia Central kicker Eli Raymer. Coach Kia says every deal is a touchdown. Shop Greenway Kia in Hickory Hollow, Rivergate, or Franklin. GreenwayKiaNashville.com. The Marshall County offense that scored 14 in the first quarter, 7 in the second, and looking to pick up where they left off with quarterback Tyler Thompson. Flag is down as Raymer gets the kickoff. They're going to come back and retake it.
Prior to the kick.
Our white hat, Dan Holt. We've had a false start on kickoff and now an offside. That'll back it up to the 35-yard line.
You mentioned Columbia Central in that Week 1 game against Dixon County. They have 2 kick returns right now. They're giving a lot of space to Marshall County with some dangerous return men in the backfield over there. One of them being the speedster, Todd Gardner, who has had 2 explosive plays already in that first half.
Yeah, Gardner had a 64-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. It's he and cornerback Tayshawn Jones back deep. Week 4 action, rivalry matchup renewed. Both of these teams looking to pick up some momentum before they begin their region slate. And the second half is underway from Columbia Central. Gardner will field it right on the goal line, and that is well done by Eli Raymer. That's an automatic touchback, and Marshall County will get the football on the 20.
I heard that one come off the toe of Raymer. That was an impressive kick as the Marshall County offense comes up. If they can start the second half the same way they did the first, they'll be very happy. They're about 1 score away from really taking control of this game and putting it out of Columbia Central's hands.
Tyler Thompson, 8 of 12 in the first half, 104 yards. Had the interception, but also a rushing touchdown for the reigning 4A Mr. Football winner. Little play action to start things off in the third, finding his favorite target, Kel Hightower, who dances out of bounds after a good first down gain. That picks up 9, 2nd and 1.
And that's off the play action fake of their counter scheme right there. And it's important to just get Thompson and Hightower back on that connection, because it seemed like in the second quarter it kind of dissipated there. They were just not on the same page, so now they're starting off with a completion.
Gardner behind his left guard, gets twirled down, but does have enough. Moves the sticks for a BMC Metalworks first down. Or is it? Looks like it got across the 30. Yes, they will move the chains.
Yeah, there's just a little lag in the operation, right? So the referees are talking to them before they bring the sticks. But it is a first down. Marshall County operating off the run off of that explosive first pass. Their first down can be either, 50-50.
Marshall County, winners of 6 in a row in this series. Quarterback keeper Tyler Thompson has room, gallops across the 40 and slides down. And he has got that in his bag. Came into this game with only 39 rush yards on the season, but 4 touchdowns. Typically pulls it out in the end zone or near the end zone. That time he scrambles for a first down.
And it was a good call, too. I mean, he's such a threat over the air that everyone's keying on his receiver, specifically Hightower, right? But Thompson, with 5 rushing touchdowns on the season, he does have a threat with his feet.
Sneaky athlete, and his head coach and play caller feels like he has such a better feel for the offense this year after a monster 2024. And it's a savvy move by Thompson to just get rid of the football.
Thompson does like to extend plays, and at the end of that second quarter, it set up 2 different 3rd and 20s, one of which ended up the interception that gave Columbia Central a chance to score at the end of the half. So trying to play some smarter football maybe in the second half.
A 68% passer last year for over 2,800 yards, 45 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions for Tyler Thompson, plus 11 rushing scores. You see the long hair, the laid-back, calm demeanor has earned him the nickname Sunshine with his teammates, and he's trying to repeat and build on an incredible season last year. This time they keep it on the ground with Gardner for a second down gain. Picks up 4, 3rd and 6. Let's hear more about Tyler Thompson as we go down to Sammy Kincaid.
Hey guys, yeah, as you were just saying, Lucas, he goes by Sunshine, and Coach said you'll see why whenever you see him. You were talking about that flow. Tyler transferred from Florida, and the nickname was automatic whenever they saw that flow. He's one of the guys, man of the people. Coach said you could never tell if we won or lost because Tyler was always having a smile on his face. He's laid back. Nothing ever bothers him. He's just emotionally level. You won't see Tyler just running the offense this year. You'll see him punting the ball for Marshall County, and while Coach isn't the biggest fan of having Tyler punt, he said it at least always gives them the threat of a fake.
Well, and he might have to stay on the field here, Sammy, to punt it away, as that's an incompletion to the right side of the field, looking again for Kel Hightower.
Columbia Central's defense is also just doing so well with their coverage. It's just so tight, and Thompson has to throw that a little bit out of Hightower's reach because number 5 for Columbia Central right there, Jamari Brown, getting some work in at defense, and the coverage forces the punt.
Unless they go for it here on 4th and 6, and this is the thing about having your starting quarterback punt the football, always the threat of a fake. And he looked like he had the intention to punt it away as whistles blow.
The word of the day is nonchalant. That was one of the most nonchalant punts I've ever seen.
Flag is down.
Prior to the snap.
So that'll make it 4th and long, and they'll certainly punt it away here in more of a punt formation. But you see that the effect that it has, Bruno, Columbia Central in a defensive formation there with nobody back deep to return.
Yeah, while you were talking, I saw Thompson taking a few steps back. I was like, okay, they're just going to pooch it at this point.
But just that calm, cool, collected demeanor once again coming into play. That's a nice boot from the quarterback. Nearly fumbled, but holding on and brought down is Brown. And Columbia Central will take over. So the Lions get a stop and get the football. Down 14 at home in the 3rd quarter. We'll be right back on MyTV 30. Sammy Kincaid down on the field for our check presentation pregame with Columbia Central Principal Shonda Sparrow Lang. And we greatly appreciate the fine folks out here in Columbia for having us in Week 4 of the Tennessee Army National Guard Friday Night Rivals, presented by UA Local 572. This is a high school football town, to say the least, as the Lions down 14 against the Marshall County Tigers get the football back, looking to build a comeback as you get a look at sophomore safety Jamari Hall being looked at. They'll need him on defense, but for right now, it is junior quarterback Daniel Booker coming onto the field for the first time in the third quarter. Bruno, how much do the Lions lean into his dual threat ability here to try to claw back into it?
I think you should really design some runs so that it can open up the pass game, maybe get that Marshall County defensive line out of his backfield. Either that or set up that screen game. One of those two.
Booker fakes, throws, screen on the left side. Jamari Brown out of bounds at the 30, brings up 2nd and 4.
And now with this down in distance, your design runs can typically have a lot more effectiveness and be explosive too. You see a lot of misdirection right there as they try to get their athletes in the open field. Right there was Jamari Brown, who's also already made some great plays on defense, recovering the punt on special teams. Now he gets the first call on offense.
Booker's going to run. Has a man trailing, and the tackle is made by Mylan Morris. But he might have gotten just enough. They're going to rule him short. 3rd and less than a yard for Columbia Central.
Mylan Morris, a very bright spot in Marshall County on that defensive line. Both effective in the run game with a TFL and in the pass rush with some pressures tonight.
Zane Nash in the backfield. He gets the give. Motors across the 35. A BMC Metalworks first down for the Lions. BMC Metalworks, an industry leader in CNC machining and steel fabrication services, celebrating over 5 decades of excellence.
This is a good cut by Nash right there. He sees that the tackle in the defensive end is crashing along his face, so he takes the cut because all he knows is he just needs 1 yard. So he takes that cut, gets vertical, converts it for Columbia Central.
Now only his 2nd carry of the game. Zane Nash runs hard. His head coach says he accepts physicality out of the backfield. And they're going to hand it right back to him. Nash bouncing off of tacklers, lowering the shoulder across the 45 to the 44 into Columbia Central territory. Middle linebacker, running back, just like his head coach was for this football team.
And again, a lot of misdirection, a lot of white jerseys. I believe 6, 7, 8, 9 Marshall County players touched Nash before he goes down the field right there. A lot of people like to call themselves Lightning and Thunder, however the wordplay is for that whole running back tandem. That was just, try and stop me, bro. That's the PG way to say it.
They'll go back into the backfield. This time Hassan Baugh, there's a little bit of lightning mixed in. In a flash, he gets to the 36-yard line, and Columbia Central off to a fine start on this series. The 7th carry for Baugh, 27 yards. And the Lions staying on schedule here.
No, this is a very impressive first drive, and if they score a touchdown right here, it's going to make it a 1-possession game. Marshall County losing the momentum that they had in the first quarter.
There's the quarterback run, but it is met and stifled. Answering the bell is Davion Stanley, who plays the star in this Marshall County defense. So it brings up 3rd down, 4 yards to go for the Lions, after getting the defensive stop they needed out of halftime. Defense has answered the bell since quickly going down in a 14-0 hole. Now offense is trying to do the same as Tredarius Goff looks on. Booker with blockers, tripped up. Was just trying to keep up there behind his junior left guard, Luke O'Neill.
You can see Marshall County, they bring a linebacker pressure right here to the weak side. And Columbia Central designed the run away. When you block a run play into a defensive stunt perfectly, that is the opportunity for explosive plays. And we saw Booker just get tripped up right there before all that open field was swallowed up.
But it's enough for the first down. Clock churning as we near the midway point of the third quarter. 40-second meeting between these teams. A historic rivalry on the rollout. Booker gets it to Mason Southall, his first catch of the season, and the senior fullback picks up 9 on first down.
This is a design route with just one man to throw to. Southall, the fullback, always open in that flat position with this sort of rollout, and delivers devastating low on the edge there.
Mylan Bell on the tackle. 2nd and 1. Zane Nash cutting through tacklers and into the red zone. Tredarius Goff, Columbia Central's head coach, in that 2010 state championship game against Hendersonville, had 3 rushing touchdowns, 17 tackles, and a sack on his way to MVP. Zane Nash is on track to have a day like that, as he is slow to get up.
Zane Nash had good lateral movement. He's like stepping side to side while he's going up the field, but that can take a toll on your lower body. And Todd Gardner, who has had the explosive plays for Marshall County on offense, meets him and brings him down. I think lands on his leg funny at the end of that play.
So Nash will be able to limp off the field. And Columbia Central certainly will hope to get him back in the football game, not just for the physicality on offense, but just his importance in the middle of that Lions defense. 1st and 10 on the 15. Fakes it to Ball, throws over the middle, touchdown Columbia Central. Dallas King on the receiving end, and the Lions finish a methodical march down the field to make it a one-score game. A South College touchdown, South College, where dreams find direction.
That was a good key fake. We saw the fullback just go right up the middle on that C gap when the tackle and tight end opened it up, and the linebackers eat it all up, and Dallas King attacks that middle of the field pocket where the linebacker should be in the throwing lane. Makes it too easy for Booker with their Columbia Central's best offensive series of the game.
Raymer for the extra point. Knocks it through, and it's a 21-14 ball game. Columbia Central has outscored Marshall County 14-7 since the end of the first quarter. Tigers will get it back.
We're thrilled to be talking with Aubrey Burns from BMC Metalworks. Aubrey, how long has your company been tied in with Friday Night Rivals?
We have been a part of Friday Night Rivals for 9 years now, and we just really value that relationship and supporting high school students in as many ways as we can.
Aubrey, if you could, tell us what BMC Metalworks does.
So we are a local family-owned and operated full-service metalworking business serving numerous industries throughout the Southeast. We specialize in design and engineering, CNC machining, steel fabrication, field team services, and even a 24-hour emergency service.
Aubrey, could you tell us where BMC Metalworks is located?
So we are off New Highway 7 in Columbia, just outside of downtown Columbia in that south of Nashville. We're on 7 acres, 3 operations building, and spanning over 75,000 square feet of production space.
Now, I understand that this year is a time to celebrate for BMC Metalworks, that there's something big going on.
Yes, we just celebrated our 50th year anniversary, which is such a milestone for us and really such a testimony to our employees and all of our loyal customers over the years. My family has owned the business for 16 of those years, and throughout that time we have just really become a pillar of Middle Tennessee community, particularly Columbia and Murray County, and we're just so proud and honored to be a part of Middle Tennessee.
Well, Aubrey, thank you to you and BMC Metalworks for being a part of Friday Night Rivals and for all of the other great things you do in the communities you serve.
Absolutely, thanks.
And right down the road, we are here at Columbia Central High School as the Lions score to make it a 21-14 Marshall County lead. And we've got a fun finish brewing here with 5:26 to go in the third quarter of this rivalry matchup, the 42nd edition of Marshall County and Columbia Central on MyTV 30. Raymer's kickoff, fielded by Gardner at the 1. He'll be able to return it. Gardner takes a hit inside the 20 and stumbles across to the 22 for this Marshall County offense to retake the field. Alongside Bruno Reagan, Lucas Panzica with you in the booth, Sammy Kincaid on the sideline. Just what Columbia Central needed out of halftime. A stop and a 10-play, 76-yard drive. And now the defense retakes the field, Bruno, against the Marshall County offensive unit that started red hot. Quarterback Tyler Thompson, the senior signal caller, started this matchup 8 of 8. He is 1 of 7 with an interception since.
And I think it really started with those. There's only been minimal penalties, but they've been in such bad spots for the Marshall County offense.
Columbia Central keeps that momentum, stifling a run. Todd Gardner with nowhere to go, and he loses the yard.
Watch number 77, Isaiah Bishop. He sheds the lead block. What a great play and great use of a D-lineman hands. You see so many D-linemen at this level just be so passive with their hands. They extend. He sheds the block with it, swims over to open up his body. That's a 340-pounder right there moving. Very impressive stuff.
Yeah, 6'4" frame. Already has a sack on the night. His 3rd of the season. Marshall County spreading it out here. Bringing Gardner in motion, faking the give to him. Thompson on the run, and he tucks it across the 30.
Thompson on keeper.
Let's go down to Sammy Kincaid on the sideline.
Hey guys, an injury update on Zane Nash. You can see him out on the field right now, but something to look for is that right ankle. He was having a hard time bending it, and he said, I'm going to be fine, and he made the choice to go back out there, but that is something to keep an eye on for the remainder of this game.
Thanks, Sammy. No surprise, Zane Nash, a tough player, junior middle linebacker. Talked about his head coach mentioning the way he accepts physicality. I think that's carried through tonight. Big 3rd down here. Tyler Thompson picks it up over the middle.
Good job by Tyler Thompson there to sell his route with his eyes and then turn those shoulders immediately up the field. He knows he only needs 1 yard, so you see right there, that just stifles the Columbia Central defense ever so slightly to give him that momentum he needs to fall forward and pick up the 1st down.
Presented by BMC Metalworks. Marshall County, led by head coach Thomas Osteen, playing tonight and then next week in Chattanooga before they start Region 5 4A play. Gardner around the left side, stopped at the 40. And now we're seeing the Tigers really commit to the run.
Yeah, well, the momentum of this game did certainly shift to Columbia Central, but there was just so much wear and tear in that first quarter to first half of the second quarter that if you look at Columbia Central's defense, specifically the front 8, they're really struggling with staying conditioned out there right now, going sideline to sideline. So you can stick with the run game now that the softening process is taking effect.
Thompson on the rollout, one-handed snag. Gardner across the 40, still on his feet. Todd Gardner into the end zone. A big play machine. Gardner goes 60. And Marshall County regains its spark on offense.
And just like that, it kind of looked like a play that was just going to be a dud drop, and Todd Gardner takes the one-hander, turns on the dime, and then shifts into that fifth gear right there on the sideline. Great body presence, and Marshall County gets back to making it a two-score game with only 3 minutes left before the fourth quarter.
A South College touchdown. Todd Gardner, who had a 64-yard run in the first half, a 60-yard catch and run here in the third quarter. The Marshall County lead is back up to 2 scores. Whistles before the extra point.
That ball. Marshall County, that is our
Sideline warning on Marshall County.
Sideline warning on Marshall County.
That would be their second warning of the game, but the PAT will still happen from this spot.
And it's blocked. Extra point is blocked. Hassan Baugh screaming in. So Marshall County with the big play, but they will only go up 13.
3:07 left to go in the third quarter. Reduced score.
Man, you really hate to see that point make a difference here at the end if you're Marshall County.
Take a look here.
That's just off the edge, and you didn't get to see it beforehand, but Marshall County only had 10 people on the field for that field goal attempt. Then they rushed someone off the edge on that wing. I believe there was an injury or an unaccounted for substitution needed, and I think that just messed up the whole operation.
Marshall County takes a 27-14 lead nearing the end of the third quarter. Stick around Fridays at 9:30 or after college football coverage. Don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. Catch the biggest plays and unbelievable hits. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick giving you highlights, scores, and more for high school football games across the mid-state. Fridays at 9:30 or after college football. Don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust, who is proud to sponsor local schools and student athletes both on and off the field. So Thomas Osteen and this Marshall County offense regain a spark, and both of their touchdowns since the end of the first quarter have been courtesy of Todd Gardner. Both of 60-plus yards, rushing and receiving.
Todd Gardner carrying this hat in for maybe our player of the game.
Rohel, the freshman kicker, filling in for all-region kicker Luis Gonzalez this season, who suffered a torn ACL. Will boot it in the end zone.
Touchback.
And Columbia Central comes out seeking an answer.
First and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Columbia Central, right before that Marshall County score, they marshaled their most successful offensive series of the night. They did have a 10-play series before that, but they were attacking on all angles, starting it out with a screen as we take a look at our scoring summary from Marshall County. 5 plays, 78 yards. They are explosive, obviously. Gardner being the explosive player for them. They trudged down the field in 2 minutes, topped off by that 60-yard pass at the end with a one-handed catch.
Quarterback Daniel Booker Jr., 14 of 19, 162 yards, a touchdown and an interception. A rushing score as well, leading the team in rush yards with 38. Timeout on the field, taken by Columbia Central. 3:07 remaining in the third quarter in a game that very well could be a one-possession matchup towards the end. What typically prompts an early timeout like that if you're the head coach of the Lions?
You know, I think it's just kind of getting an identity of what you want to go down the field in the situation, because whenever Columbia Central bridges the gap of this game, Marshall County has answered. You have to kind of tell them the game plan of the last little bit of the game, right? So we have to go down, we have to be methodical, we'll probably end this drive in the fourth quarter, defense will get a stop, then you come down here and put a stamp on it, right? It's that sort of thing rather than more, oh, we were messed up. There is a lot of fatigue on the field right now. At this level of football, there's so many people playing both ways, sometimes you just also have to figure out personnel issues that might arise.
Stay tuned. Later tonight, we'll highlight the school bus stop of the game. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Booker airing it out, incomplete. And his man pulling up there towards the end. That's Dallas King immediately stretching himself out.
Do you think the two weeks off maybe kind of is it playing into effect here, Lucas? As I flip the script on you, I'm asking you the questions now.
I love it. Let's do this. Well, look, we talked to Tredarius Goff earlier this week, and obviously they wanted to play. Didn't get the chance to kick off, to your point last week, against Independence High School. Lightning delays that affected just about everybody in the mid-state. They didn't even get a snap off in that game. And he said they just spent the 2 weeks working on themselves, right? Kind of like you said, almost a mini training camp mixed in, an early bye week, if you will, so early in the season after just 2 games. But you tell me, weather's been nice and crisp, unusually nice in the month of August into September in Middle Tennessee.
So this is one of those if you played football arguments, and I know that's kind of the big discourse right now. Oh, if you played football or not, do you know? If you played football, you know that there's just something different about game conditioning and practice conditioning. I mean, imagine it. You're in training camp, 3 to 4 of the most grueling weeks of your life. You're in the best shape, and then you go out there, and what do we see every time? Cramping, whatever, right? But when you get these reps in a game where you're being as explosive as possible, 40 to 80 snaps a game, there's something that your body acclimates to doing it at a certain time. Also, you don't practice at night. Then you play all your games at 8 o'clock. It messes with your body. So there's a lot of different factors, I think, that you just have to train yourself up for. And Columbia Central just hasn't had that opportunity like other teams at this point.
Well, I'll say this. Columbia Central was ready to get on the field tonight. You could tell just down on the field the energy as Daniel Booker rolls across the 25. And that will bring up second down for the Lions. The quarterback run game.
Marshall County still swarming to the ball relatively well. And Columbia Central has a lot of field to cover. Booker's going to have his work cut out for him.
2nd and 5. He hands off. And it'll bring up 3rd down. Not much there for Booker again, calling his own number. It's a Columbia Central team that opened the season with a 10-point loss to Dixon County. So after a disappointing opener against a rival, they turned around and hung over 50 points in a 51-12 win over Battle Creek, and we're so excited to try to carry that momentum into week 3. Weather prevented that from happening, and now they're trying to use that to create a second-half comeback effort against their rivals coming over from Marshall County. Booker screens it. Brown has the first down. He's going to have more across the 40. Down at the 46, and it's a BMC Metalworks chain mover for the Lions.
This is a great job by Brown, but also a great job by Tayshawn Jones on Marshall County. I think that might have been out of the gate, but you see number 4 right there. Just get a hand in a jersey, giving enough time for the rest of the Marshall County defense to swarm. We take a look at Jamari Brown, the sophomore receiver, has done so much work for this Columbia Central team tonight.
19 yards. That gives him 87 on all 5 of his catches tonight. Booker runs into a wall at the line of scrimmage. Marshall County ready for that draw play.
Looked like it was the sophomore defensive lineman Gibson Miller shedding a block on Columbia Central's left tackle. Big stop on first down, setting up a 2nd and long, somewhere where Columbia Central doesn't want to be with their designated quarterback run game.
2nd and 11. You're talking about a left tackle for Columbia Central and Isaiah Bishop, who's had a great night defensively. And he's picked up offers from Tennessee State and Bethel along the way this season. Booker darting across midfield and down near the marker. Going to be a yard short. 3rd and 1. And the junior quarterback is finding his groove here. It could be the final play of the 3rd quarter if Columbia Central chooses not to snap it here. They're going to go. Booker up the middle, stymied, falling forward. Chavez got the stop. That's going to be close. They will move the chains.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance.
So a BMC Metalworks first down will bring the third quarter to an end as Columbia Central faces a 13-point deficit at home in Week 4 on the march into Marshall County territory. We'll finish it out on the other side here on MyTV 30.
There's something in the air. It's not just that. It's everybody. I'm watching defensive linemen just stand up and take 3 steps.
Yeah.
Out there.
Interesting. I don't know.
Interesting. Who cares?
Fourth quarter of action is being brought to you by First Farmers Bank.
yeah. Dude, that
Columbia Central with the football, down 13 as we start the fourth quarter. And we remind you that Fridays at 9:30 or after college football coverage, don't miss Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. Catch the biggest plays and unbelievable hits. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick gives you highlights, scores, and more for high school football games across the mid-state. Fridays at 9:30 or after college football, Fox 17 Football Frenzy Live, sponsored by Wilson Bank and Trust. And, of course, we'd also like to take a moment to thank the folks at Wilson Bank and Trust for tonight's financial tips. Daniel Booker, the junior quarterback, leading this offense. Back out onto the field. They'll switch sides. 1st and 10 in Marshall County territory. Trying to make it a one-score game in the 42nd edition of this rivalry.
Columbia Central, ever since the first quarter, they've always started off with either a flat throw or a screen, so I imagine we'll see a start to this series, or I guess this new quarter series, with one of those plays.
Ball in motion. Booker to the left side. Complete, but no gain.
Yeah, it was a receiver screen, and I think Hightower had that one dialed up. He did a great job breaking on. He went underneath the offensive lineman that was coming out. Watch number 77 for Columbia Central. He goes a little bit too up the field. You have to go flat and let your receiver come back. But also, sometimes the defender plays it too well. I think Hightower was the case there, as you see him kind of limp off the field.
Richard Powers on the receiving end, 2nd and 10. Fakes the handoff. Booker head of steam across the 40. That will bring up 3rd and short. Always competitive, this matchup. The first game between these schools was played in 1935. And they haven't played every year since then. But not a lot of rivalries around Middle Tennessee. I can say they've been doing it since pre-World War II.
Yeah, World War I ended, and they said, we need to play some football in this part of the town.
Screen, Jamari Brown has blockers, reverses field, and he's got the first down as he's brought down by Jones.
Jamari Brown with a little bit of a stumble there. I think getting used to this new field is a real thing. Watch him cut to the right here, and you can see that slip where he would be so explosive and maybe cut an angle right there. That's not the first time that's happened tonight for either team on this Columbia Central field.
Bart Durham injury law, first down. Spot is at the 27. Ball with the give. Runs through the contact. Brought down right at the 20.
And we're watching a battle of attrition right now. I mean, these two teams have been slogging out. You can see people just standing up and walking in the background, but there are a host of Marshall County defenders ready to meet Baugh right there. Marshall County can't just allow Columbia Central to score and get back into this game. They had that field goal blocked, or excuse me, the PAT. All it would take is just 2 scores from Columbia Central, and they'll take it home.
Zane Nash back in the football game, but nowhere to go. Mylan Morris got there, and a horde of Marshall County tacklers followed. It's a big loss and brings up third down.
Just way too many defenders in the backfield. And Nash, he came off. Sammy let us know that he was having trouble with that right ankle, and now he's in the backfield, still carrying the football. So adrenaline probably carrying the young man through the night in a place where his team needs him the most.
Forward progress makes it only a 2-yard loss. Booker facing pressure, leaks out, stays on his feet, has the first down. Daniel Booker, a tough runner, is into the red zone.
This is a hard and effort play by Booker right here. All of his options are out. He hits the pump fake, hits up the field, and a great job by Columbia Central and the offensive lineman, number 55, getting up the field. Daniel Booker showing that they're not out of this game yet.
Hands to Baugh. Inside the 10 to the 6. Second and short. Columbia Central. We've mentioned how young of a team this is. Only 5 seniors, but 2 of them are on the offensive line. And they are leaning into that physicality and experience here. Booker on the right side. He's in. Touchdown, Columbia Central. That dual threat ability leads the Lions down the field to make it a 1-score game. And it's a South College touchdown. South College, where dreams find direction.
This is a battle of effort now. I mean, both of these teams, a majority of their starters play both ways. They're absolutely exhausted. Booker wills it of himself and his team on that drive to get into the end zone and give themselves a chance to score. Pending the PAT, and Marshall County might only be up 6.
Raymer, little bit of trouble on the snap, but he boots it through. Excellent recovery by the holder, Richard Powers, and it is a 6-point Marshall County lead. Daniel Booker, the junior quarterback, rising up to that moment, and it's a 1-score game in the 4th quarter.
Tonight's broadcast of Friday Night Rivals can also be seen streaming live on mytv30web.com, Fox 17 Facebook Live, and YouTube. Brought to you by South College, where dreams find direction.
Columbia Central refusing to go away. They have cut the Marshall County lead to 6 with 8:17 to go. We've got a good ending brewing here in this rivalry matchup. Lucas Pantica, Bruno Reagan with you in the booth. Sammy Kincaid on the sidelines. A great crowd on hand. A beautiful night in Murray County. It's week 4 of the high school football season. And Columbia Central is looking for their first win in this rivalry series since 2012. Marshall County has held the lead since the opening touchdown of this game, and head coach and play caller Thomas Osteen is drawing things up for his offense to get the ball back. But the momentum feels like it's on the side of the Lions.
Absolutely. Ever since that late point in the second quarter, there were a few penalties and Tyler Thompson and Hightower, they just lost that consistency. And since then, Columbia Central, it hasn't been pretty for them, but they've got it done. As we see their 14-play drive going down 80 yards and taking 6.5 minutes off the clock. If it comes down to that again, Marshall County might not touch the football after this series they're allowed.
Head coach Tredarius Goff, you can tell how much this program means to him just talking to him. The former Columbia Central running back and linebacker, a state champion as a player. Eli Raymer sends away the kickoff. Todd Gardner has had big play after big play tonight. And he's got a lane. Accelerates. Gardner reverses field, and he is tripped up. Flag flies late. Powers swiping Gardner down. And we'll see what the penalty is.
I'll tell you what, Gardner is an incredible athlete. He gets into that open space, and you see him cut the paint off of the defenders and his own teammates. That was such a heads-up play there by Powers, the senior. There are some flags on the field. We'll get the official call from our white hat.
Dan Holt giving us the call, a block in the back. And that's going to take away a big chunk of that impressive return from the sophomore Todd Gardner.
It just feels like anytime Marshall County starts to get something going, either Columbia Central or themselves get in their own way, it's been a tough second half. Take a look at the middle of the screen right there, and that was Chavez, number 20 for Marshall County, and that is a block in the back. If it was just a shoulder, you'd have an argument. That was clearly a hand on the back.
Brings the spot to the 33. Tyler Thompson has a man in Mays. The freshman receiver is brought down after only a 1-yard gain.
Hassan Ball again. On defense. A lot of effort plays out of Columbia Central, setting up a 2nd and long. Marshall County needs to at least take off some of the clock here. We saw at the end of the second half that Columbia Central can't do too well when they're restricted by the clock, but if they get all this clock time, they'll be able to operate their offense standard.
Number 16, Tyler Thompson, for a Mr. Football winner a year ago. This time hands off to Bryant. No gain. 3rd and 9 upcoming.
See what Tennessee's for in Mr. Football from 2024. Tyler Thompson. And this Coach Olstein can cook up.
Under 7 minutes to play. Crowd starting to get involved here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Whistles flagged down as the ball was being snapped. And Dan Holt, our white hat tonight, false start. 3rd and long will be 3rd and even longer for Marshall County.
You know, for as good as Tyler Thompson's been, and there was another flag on the Columbia Central side of the field. This might help Marshall County. It looked like coaches talking to players, and then the flag came out.
Another sideline warning on Columbia Central. And so that will essentially wipe away the false start. And we'll go back to 3rd and 9. Bruno, that is the 5th one of this game.
Well, a coach came out to say something to the player, hit the referee, and then they went to argue with the referee, and then they got themselves a sideline warning in a position now, 3rd and 9. That could be a key penalty. Tyler Thompson is empty in the backfield.
The senior quarterback.
We might never get this play off.
Timeout, Columbia.
Columbia Central's taking their second time out of the game. Down 6, 6:09 to go.
Well, there was so that sideline warning came with an issue of communication. A coach or somebody wanted to tell a player something, so maybe this timeout is to kind of get that key. I don't think we've seen Tyler Thompson in the empty backfield a lot, so maybe there's something they want to key in on with the coverage or personnel that they want to talk about, because this is an absolute huge 3rd down. A game that's been all Marshall County all the way through. Some momentum creeping up for Columbia Central, but it might be one of those games where the only lead they have is the last second of the game.
You can see right in the middle of that huddle there, defensive coordinator Howard Stone, who was head coach Tredarius Goff's linebacker coach in high school here at Columbia Central. Later on, Stone was the head coach here at Columbia Central. Worked with Goff at Mount Pleasant, and when Tredarius Goff got this job at his alma mater, he brought back his old position coach to be the defensive coordinator.
That's so cool. Cornerstone community, Columbia Central. I'm jealous of Columbia and the community you guys have. That's an amazing thing.
And it's a big 3rd and 9 here for that defense. Thompson over the middle to his main man, Kel Hightower. And 16-6 is the connection that delivers when Marshall County needs a play. A Bart Durham injury law 1st down.
Great pass protection. It starts there, and that zip off the ball. Empty backfield. Hightower gets a little folded up there, enough for the 1st down, but he was slow to come up, and he's lagging on the sideline, as you see right there. Just the physicality of the football game starting to catch up, but he comes up big when his team needed it most.
Columbia Central done a nice job not allowing Hightower to take over. That's his 4th catch of the night for 45 yards, but a 13-yard gain in a big moment. Thompson pump fakes and just has to scramble up the middle.
Thompson on the keeper. Nash on the tiger.
This will be 2nd and 5 upcoming. 2nd and 6 for the Tigers.
2nd and 6 for the Tigers.
Marshall County might lean on that run game, 1, to turn out that clock, and 2, because the game has just gotten so physical that if you have a rusher that can take advantage of a few inches of open field, man, you can really make some magic happen.
Up the middle. Good things happen when Todd Gardner touches the football. Like an explosive play into Columbia Central territory. 13-yard gain, and he's over 100 on the night.
That was a great kickout block right there by Marks Mitchell. The junior sifting across the backfield opens up a wide hole for Todd Gardner. The offensive line cleans it on down. And if I'm Marshall County, I might just let Todd Gardner carry this game out to its conclusion.
He's got 3 total touchdowns tonight, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air.
Some good defensive plays on him as well.
Thompson tucks and runs and slides.
Thompson on the keeper.
Savvy from the senior quarterback. Clock rolls past the 4-minute mark, and it's these moments, right, where you've got a senior, reigning Mr. Football winner with the nickname Sunshine because of his laid-back demeanor. It's hard to describe somebody you would rather have handling this moment for your offense if you're Thomas Hosty.
As someone who was criticized for a lot of his life for smiling too much, I'm so glad that there's someone else out there that's as good as football and that his teammates and coaches rally around that has that trope too. So I'm glad he carries on that mantle, because Life's too short to not enjoy it.
Back to Gardner. Picks up a couple. If you're Marshall County, how much are you working the clock here as opposed to drawing up plays to take another?
Absolutely. It's the most important thing is the clock. You see Tyler Thompson, he could have gotten an extra yard on that first down rush, but he opted to slide for that clock. Columbia Central showed right before that second half, they cannot, the way they call plays in their 2-minute, it's subpar. They cannot operate a 2-minute drive. So clock is the most important thing. If you can pin them back in the 20 with under 2 minutes, it'll be so tough for them.
Third and 5. Timeout, Marshall County.
Jones and Lang, timeout, Marshall County.
First one of the half taken by Thomas Osteen for a big third down here. The range for kicker Rodney Rohel is about the 18-yard line, which would set up a 35-yard field goal. That could make it a 2-score game. This is 3rd and 5 on the 31 of Columbia Central.
Yeah, I would give up because if you punt it and you maybe get 10 to 15 yards less in field position, I'd rather take that chance of making it a 2-score game. And essentially, that would put Columbia Central out, barring some wild miracles with the way their offense is designed. But what a respectable comeback from Columbia Central, because the first 3 Marshall County series, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, oh, we might be looking at running clock type game. They've fought, they battled, they showed their resilience. They are still very young, too. But it was an impressive showing nonetheless. No moral victories. There's still time, and there's still an opportunity on 3rd and 5.
Marshall County led 14-0 after the first quarter. Thompson staying up, twisting and turning towards the 25. It's going to be close.
Looked like a design quarterback run, mixing it up, letting Thompson fall forward right behind his pulling guard. We're going to a measurement.
1-1 Columbia Central, 1-2 Marshall County. Here in week 4, both teams gearing up for a region play, but looking to pick up a big rivalry win. And that is a first down for the Marshall County Tigers. A massive pickup as Columbia Central has just 1 timeout remaining.
No turnovers. No turnovers, absolutely. It looks like they might even set up for a victory. Maybe some center of the fielding as Thompson goes to the sideline to talk with his coach about this situation.
Clock rolling, under 2:20 to go. Marshall County winners of 6 in a row in this series. And a 7th straight win could push them over the edge in the all-time series, which coming into tonight was tied at 21 apiece. Gardner up the middle. Clock still churning. How do you handle when to call that timeout if you're Columbia Central Tredarius?
The third down, you wait until the very end. Absolutely.
It's a pickup of 3. Todd Gardner, a 64-yard touchdown run in the second quarter, a 60-yard catch and run touchdown in the third. That put Marshall County up 27-14. Columbia Central responded on a scoring drive led by quarterback Devin Booker Jr. Make it a 6-point game. Marshall County trying to ice the game. Gardner up the middle, inches from a ceiling first down that would end it, but he will be short. And this brings up the biggest play of this matchup. 3rd and 1 with a minute to play.
Looks like they're going to let the clock wind down. I would opt for the timeout on 3rd down just so that way your defense can get a rest and know what situation they're in, but they'll want to save the timeout maybe for an offensive situation.
And with 10 seconds on the play clock, Marshall County acting as though it's going to take one of its remaining 2 timeouts here. And Thomas Osteen does just that.
Jones and Lang, timeouts.
When we return, the biggest play of this matchup as Marshall County looks to ice away a 27-21 lead in this rivalry matchup. Ravenwood beat Summit 50-zip.
Jeez. Are you on? Oh, you're just. We're going to check Coach T.
Page beat Brentwood 30-zip.
Jeez. I feel bad for Coach Finch.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. Page is still good.
Wrapping up week 4 here in Columbia. But next week, same time, same place, we head back to Davidson County as East Nashville plays host to Springfield. 7 p.m. on MyTV 30. Looking forward to it. Lucas Panzica with you alongside Bruno Reagan in the booth. Sammy Kincaid down on the sideline. And Marshall County setting up for a 3rd and 1 with a 6-point lead and 50 seconds to go that could ice the game away. Who do you want with the ball in their hands if you're head coach Thomas Osteen?
I want someone to take a knee. I don't even want any risk, maybe even a center of the football, right? Because the field goal just takes away. The only way you lose this game, if you're Marshall County, in my opinion, is a turnover. So, Lucas, you gave me a surprise expression, but it's just my go-to right.
Up the middle, Columbia Central gets the stop. And on 4th down, the final timeout of the game is taken by the Lions.
And I was a little concerned about their operation there, but they get it done. And a good defensive play by Columbia Central. A player down. That is, it appears to be Dallas King, who's made a lot of great plays for Columbia Central. Also, he was cramping earlier in the game. Cramps continue.
So decision time now for Thomas Osteen. You're a yard away from game over or a field goal attempt away from either going up 2 scores or potentially missing and giving Columbia Central the football with about 20 seconds and no timeouts, needing a touchdown.
So let's talk about the negatives. Field goal, it gets blocked and returned. That's a worst case scenario. 4th down, you go for it, turn it over. It'd be hard for it to be returned. There's no option to punt. I would probably go down I would field goal it here. That would be my guess. That's what I would do. But I'm interested to see what Coach Osteen does here. It looks like the offense is going to go back on, because if you failed to convert at this point, they still have to travel 80 yards with, what, 1 timeout?
No timeouts.
No timeouts, excuse me. So they just used that timeout with 20 seconds left. And it takes them so long to even get play call in on offense. This is probably the best call for them. Go for the kill shot, and if it doesn't work, most important, secure the football. Do not let a turnover be a score here.
A yard away from ending the football game. And they're going to put it in the hands of Thompson. He's got it. A Bart Durham injury loss, 1st down to seal it from Sunshine.
And a great call, too. Excuse me. Yeah, Bart Durham, injury loss, 1st down to end the game. They'll have to come out and knee it one more time, but they let Tyler Thompson just go out and rush the edge. If it's not there, get down, or excuse me, try your best, but just secure the football, because it'll go to them either way. But he sees the open field, he takes it out of bounds, and that'll do it. Marshall County will hold on to their lead and go up against Columbia Central in their rivalry matchup.
The series is at Marshall County 22, Columbia Central 21, as the Tigers win a 7th straight over the Lions. In our final from Lindsey Nelson Stadium is Marshall County 27, Columbia Central 21. We'll hear from Marshall County head coach Thomas Osteen in moments, down in the field with Sammy Kincaid. But just a professional performance tonight from the Marshall County Tigers, as we'll take a look at our play of the game presented by the Tennessee Army National Guard. The Tigers, who went up 14-0 in the first quarter, took a 21-7 lead into halftime and were able to outlast the Columbia Central Lions. And it's got to go to Todd Gardner on the 60-yard catch and run. That made it a 27-14 lead in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was just going to be a dump off, but Todd Gardner turns the shoulders, hits a full circle, and you can see how important that touchdown ended up being with the final score and the missed extra point. They desperately needed it, and Todd Gardner, he has our play of the game. He might sneak into another post-game award, too. We'll see coming up.
Let you know in just a moment. So Marshall County improves to 2-2. They are back to 500. Columbia Central falls to 1-2. And we'll hear from the winning team tonight when we come back on MyTV 30. When did that interception happen? Do you remember when that interception happened?
Right at the end of the second quarter. Remember Marshall County was going down.
No, it's the Marshall County interception. It's the one that.
Oh.
It was in the second.
Third quarter. It was in the fourth quarter.
What part of the game? What point of the game is that? Second quarter. Yeah, that's right. Because they got the ball, but then they threw an interception. But. Oh, goodness. I should be the one picking that up. I appreciate it. Can I see number one's total? Oh, you got it. Okay. Marshall County winners tonight in Week 4, 27-21 over Columbia Central in a rivalry battle that went down to the wire. Before we hear from head coach Thomas Osteen and his football team, let's take a look at the school bus stop of the game. And it happened in the second quarter.
Stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Columbia Central with the football, looking to drive down the field to make it a one-score game, and Caden Harris on the tip drill.
Absolutely. That was one where it's one-on-one. He gets it up in the air, comes down with it, a huge interception.
School bus stop of the game. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
Sammy Kincaid is down on the field with the winners tonight, the Marshall County Tigers.
And they are ready to celebrate, so we'll make this quick, Coach. Just talk about the resiliency of this team to be able to pull it out whenever it ended up becoming a close game.
Yeah, that's what I'm the most proud of. Obviously, winning is very tough. These guys put a ton of time into this experience, success, and just so happy with all our whole team. We found a way to win a really tough game versus a good Columbia team.
And this offense, they got off to a very, very quick start, and they were able to finish it as well. So just talk about this offense and how explosive it can be.
Yeah, anytime you start, I knew I wanted to start the game fast. We scored our first 3 possessions. Obviously, did some good things in all 3 phases after that, but it was a total team effort tonight. Absolutely.
Well, you guys celebrate. I won't delay you any longer. Congrats, Coach.
The Marshall County Tigers are 2-2. They'll turn around and head to Chattanooga to take on Tyner Academy before staying on the road, heading to Battle Creek to begin Region 5 4A play. Columbia Central falling to 1-2, and they will begin Region play at home against Lawrence County next week in Region 4 5A. Congratulations to the Tigers who get it done tonight, and congratulations to our UA Local 572 Player of the Game, and it is sophomore running back Todd Gardner. A monster night, doing it on the ground, doing it in the receiving game. Bruno, 15 rushes for 128 yards and 2 scores, as well as a 1 reception for 60 and a touchdown.
Yeah, Todd Gardner he had that 5th breakout speed. It was really him that elevated when Marshall County's offense started to stutter. He found a way to get explosive. He made that one-handed reception that you saw about a few minutes ago on our play of the game. So anytime they really needed him, he came out. And we were looking for Marshall County to find someone outside of Thompson and Hightower to make a statement. Todd Gardner really made a statement tonight on Friday Night Rivals.
2 of his 3 touchdowns of 60 or more yards, as you see the receiving score there. That came in the 3rd quarter to make it 27-14. Final score 27-21. UA Local 572, the premier trainer of workers in all aspects of the piping, plumbing, welding, and HVAC industry. So the Tigers are winners tonight. Hope you'll join us next Friday at 7 p.m. on MyTV 30 as our Friday Night Rivals regular season coverage continues into Week 5 as we head to East Nashville. The Eagles taking on the visiting Yellow Jackets of Springfield right here on MyTV 30. We will see you there. And all of us would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, the Tennessee Army National Guard, UA Local 572, and Sonic, who, through their contributions to the program, make these games possible for viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to the 2025 Friday Night Rivals telecasts. The United States Navy, BMC Metalworks, Bart Durham Injury Law, South College, Wilson Bank and Trust, Western Kentucky University, Greenway Kia, Josh Houston and Associates. And we'd especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support. Marshall County High School and our host, Columbia Central High School. Final score tonight, Marshall County 27, Columbia Central 21. From our partner Bruno Reagan and Sammy Kincaid down to the sidelines, our entire crew, I'm Lucas Panzica saying good night, and we'll see you next week.